Opening the era of black technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51. Many things don't need to be said. As the director of the resettlement office, Feng Xiao is under a lot of pressure. These days, it is not so easy to find jobs for veterans in small places. There is no time to relax every year. Feng Xiao can definitely be seen in any company with good benefits. How many do you want? Feng Xiao rubbed his forehead and said, "One is enough." 13. My nephew's company is just starting. I hope Uncle Feng can bear with it, Su Pinggan said directly. Feng Xiao frowned directly. This is too few, but he also understands Su Pinggan's difficulties. 20. The lowest. If you don't agree, I will go to Laolu, Feng Xiao said directly. Su Pinggan's face darkened. Damn, this is also possible. Uncle Feng, I have no place to resettle, Su Pinggan said, rubbing his head, a little regretful for calling Feng Xiao. Pinggan, if you resettle 20 people for me this time, I will give you a silk banner at the end of the year. These people are all retired from the army, and their quality is absolutely impeccable, Feng Xiao said again. The quality of the soldiers must be high. Su Pinggan also believed it very much, that's why he called Feng Xiao, but he couldn't use 20 people at once. What to do? Su Pinggan began to hesitate. Okay, let's just have 20 people, they can't be too old, Su Pinggan said directly. Don't worry, they are not old, they are all good guys in their 20s, about the same age as you, but, Pinggan, I think you really need to have a few people in their 30s, so that you can suppress those young people, Feng Xiao said seriously. Uncle Feng, just say it directly, Su Pinggan said directly. Feng Xiao was stunned for a moment when he heard it, and then he laughed. Smart enough. There are 3 very good candidates, they are all retired personnel from special forces, and they are supposed to be arranged to the career system, but the 3 of them refused, wanting to relax a little. Their abilities are beyond doubt. I'll let them come to you tomorrow, you two talk about it. How about it? Feng Xiao said directly. No problem, if possible. The 3 of them will be the captain and deputy captain, and the remaining 17 people will be selected by them personally, Su Pinggan said directly. This is a talent, how could he let it go? After the two chatted for a while, Su Pinggan hung up the phone and continued to drink tea, thinking about other things in his mind. The knock on the door sounded. Come in, Su Pinggan said. Jin Wenwen pushed the door open and came in. Jin Wenwen temporarily became Su Pinggan's secretary. She was selected by Ho Minghe himself. Now Ho Minghe is not only in charge of finance, but also part-time as the director of human resources. Ho Minghe is responsible for all the company's recruitment. Mr. Su, there is a man named Wu Sike looking for you outside. He claims to be from Tuangda law firm, Jin Wenwen reported. Please ask him to come in, Su Pinggan said directly, and Jin Wenwen turned and went out. This Wu Sike was introduced by Lin Yide. The law firm that the Lin family cooperated with was Tuangda law firm. This is a law firm located in Beijing. It is very strong and does not accept commissions from ordinary companies. Ordinary companies cannot afford the cooperation fee, so the fee is not low. The Lin family is a key client of the law firm. The introduced companies must cooperate with the Lin family. They must give the Lin family this face. Especially this time it was the head of the Lin family, Lin Changgong, who called in person, and they must take it seriously. When Lin Yide asked about the law firm at home, Lin Changgong paid attention to it. After Lin Yide explained why, Lin Changgong took over and handled the matter personally. No matter what the result of this matter is, Su Pinggan will owe the Lin family a favor. Soon, Jin Wenwen led a person in. He looked to be in his 30s, dressed neatly, and looked handsome, giving people a very stable feeling. Mr. Wu, this is our general manager Su. General manager Su, this is Mr. Wu Sike. Jin Wenwen introduced the two. Su Pinggan shook hands with Wu Sike, asked Wu Sike to sit down, turned around and said to Jin Wenwen, give us a pot of tea. Jin Wenwen immediately started to get busy, and soon brought a pot of tea, put it away, and left directly, and closed the door so as not to delay Su Pinggan and Wu Sike's conversation. I didn't expect General Manager Su to be so young, and he has achieved such great results. Wu Sike spoke first. Wu Sike still admires Su Pinggan very much, otherwise, Wu Sike would not be here. Wu Sike has obtained the qualification of a partner in a law firm. This time he came to contact Shyanki Company. If they can cooperate, Wu Sike will be responsible for the legal affairs of Shyanki Company. I am just lucky for a while, and I caught up with a good opportunity of the country's rapid development, Su Pinggan said with a smile, picked up the teapot and poured 2 cups of tea, made a gesture of invitation, and the two of them took a sip from the cups. Wu Sike smiled meaningfully, lucky for a while, look at your approach, the layout is so deep, ordinary people can't make such a layout, this is not something that luck can explain. Mr. Su, our Tongda law firm is also very willing to cooperate with Mr. Su. According to our internal analysis, in a few years, Mr. Su will definitely be on the Forbes list of the world, Wu Sike said with a smile. Su Pinggan was stunned, narrowed his eyes, and looked at Wu Sike in confusion. Mr. Su, our law firm has an investigation agency. We are very clear about the property rights of Iceland Poseidon Company, including the relevant experiments that Poseidon is currently conducting in China. We are also very clear, according to our understanding, the experiments have been stopped. In a few days, the state will grant special qualifications to Haitian Company. Superfish oil will be smoothly launched in the national market, Wu Sike said with a smile. Su Pinggan laughed and gave Wu Sike a thumbs up. He was very satisfied with the strength of Tongda law firm. He was able to dig out his old background. This ability won Su Pinggan's recognition. However, Mr. Su's layout now has a loophole, Wu Sike said directly. Oh, please tell me, Lawyer Wu, Su Pinggan said directly. Mr. Su, according to the laws of our country, companies with import and export rights only have product wholesale rights, not retail rights. This must be applied for, and retail qualifications must be approved by relevant units in Beijing. This point, Ocean Trading Company and Overseas Excellent Products Company have not done. If Mr. Su makes a layout in advance, there may be unexpected gains, Wu Sike said with a smile. I think Mr. Wu should have a solution for this, am I right? Su Pinggan also said with a smile. The two looked at each other and laughed together. They were both smart people, and many things did not need to be said explicitly. Tongda law firm was optimistic about Su Pinggan's development, and Su Pinggan was optimistic about the strength of Tongda law firm. Chapter 52, the difference is obvious. They are all smart people. They started to discuss cooperation. Tongda law firm was very sincere. The cooperation fee for the first year was 2 million, and the second year was the normal 5 million. They were responsible for handling all the legal affairs of Shyanki Company in the Celestial Empire. Mr. Wu, I don't know which lawyer your firm will send over. I really hope that Mr. Wu can stay here, Su Pinggan said with a smile. Mr. Su, after signing the contract, I will stay here and be responsible for all the legal affairs of Shyanki Company in the first year. In the second year, the company will send another lawyer over. Please rest assured, Mr. Su, they are all veterans with rich experience, and they will definitely satisfy Mr. Su, Wu Sike said with a smile. Okay, when will we sign the contract? Su Pinggan said with a smile. Anytime, after signing the contract, as long as the headquarters has a reply, I will immediately start to handle the retail qualification of Shyanki Foreign Trade Company. Wu Sike was very straightforward. Okay, Su Pinggan agreed. The two drank tea, stood up together and started to handle business. They went outside to use Jin Wenwen's computer to print out the contract. The term was only 1 year. Su Pinggan called Ho Minghe, and the contract seal was with Ho Minghe. Wu Sike came this time and also brought a contract seal of the law firm. Once the contract is signed, Wu Sike will return to Beijing with the documents to handle the retail qualification of Shyanki Foreign Trade Company, and then return the contract seal to the company. It will take a few days without delaying things. After the contract was signed, Su Pinggan immediately handled the transfer, and the 2 million funds were deposited into the account specified in the contract. Not long after, Wu Sike received a call from the financial department of the law firm, saying that the funds had arrived and the contract officially came into effect. Wu Sike was a person who worked quickly but meticulously. He immediately asked Su Pinggan to prepare relevant information for him. After the information was prepared, he did not even eat. Su Pinggan sent a car to take him to the provincial capital and flew directly to Beijing to try to get the matter done within a week. Wu Sike had to do this quickly, and he had to show the strength of Tongda law firm. Only with real strength can we gain the recognition of customers. This is the corporate culture of Tongda law firm. The next day, Su Pinggan met the 3 people recommended by Feng Ziao in the office, Lin Hansheng, Chen Qilin, and Yu Zegan. Su Pinggan talked to the 3 people separately. It was obvious that Lin Hansheng was better than Chen Qilin and Yu Zegan in all aspects. Su Pinggan decided on the spot that Lin Hansheng would be the head of the security department, and Chen Qilin and Yu Zegan would be deputies to assist Lin Hansheng. The 3 had no objection, so the matter of recruiting personnel was handed over to Lin Hansheng. Feng Ziao was asked to recruit 13 people, divided into 2 shifts of day and night, and started working. At the same time, Lin Hansheng needed to submit a plan within a week. This plan included a list of required security equipment, and the entire park was included in the monitoring scope, leaving no blind spots, especially the science and technology building, which was the focus of monitoring. Sufficient manpower must be arranged for regular patrols. The reason for giving a week was that the 3 had 2 days to settle their family affairs, and they would officially go to work 2 days later. After the arrangements were made, Su Pinggan would not worry about it. Now the various operations of the company have completely liberated Su Pinggan. Every day, he accompanied his father to drink tea. The tea was sent by Mabo. It was absolutely good tea. Su Hong had been drinking tea for decades, and he could still tell the difference between good and bad tea. It was definitely the best tea he had never tasted. Go to the construction site behind to have a look, have a drink with Kong Jiansheng and Kong Jian, or have a drink with the former little brothers. Every day is very chic. 10 days have passed and Wu Sike is back. The retail qualification has been completed, and the last loophole has been filled. Su Pinggan helped Wu Sike find a house, a 2-bedroom and 2-living-room house with all kinds of furniture and appliances. He prepaid 3 months' rent, and Wu Sike will be responsible for it after 3 months. At the same time, Wu Sike was equipped with an office in the company, and the legal department was officially established. In the future, all contracts must be reviewed by the legal department. Without the signature of the legal department, they cannot be signed. The company's staffing is becoming more and more complete. At the end of the month, Su Pinggan presided over the company meeting and formally appointed Cao Deshan as the manager of the logistics department. The treatment in all aspects is comprehensively improved. Starting from next month, the company will be responsible for Cao Deshan's 5 insurances and 1 housing fund. Cao Deshan stood up with excitement and stated that he would never leave Shianki for the rest of his life unless the earth jumped. He patted his chest to show his loyalty. Su Pinggan was very satisfied with Cao Deshan's attitude. On this day, Kyle called and said that he needed funds. Now the relevant experiments in the United States and the European Union have been completed, and the results are surprisingly good. Funds are needed for research and development so that the administrative department can issue market access documents. If you want to approve it quickly, you need to do some research and development. Without money, there is no efficiency. Kyle also sighed about the Chinese side. It is really incomparable. The efficiency of China in all aspects is much higher than that of Europe and the United States. According to the report of the personnel, various approval documents can be issued this week. And there is no need for special research and development. The Chinese side will approve super fish oil to enter major hospitals so that the people can get rid of the pain and torture 1 day earlier. This is a government that truly serves the people. Those guys in Europe and the United States are the ones who will not sign without seeing money. The difference is obvious. How much money is needed? Su Pinggan asked. Boss, the United States needs about 6 million, and Europe needs about 5 million. I mean euros, Kyle said truthfully. Su Pinggan felt like throwing the phone. Damn, so greedy. How much is the publicity fee? Su Pinggan rubbed his head and said, this is another large sum of money. Boss, the promotional expenses in Europe alone will be around 40 million, Kyle said directly. Su Pinggan wanted to vomit blood. What about the price? How do you plan to sell it? Su Pinggan said, holding his chest. Boss, we use 30 capsules per bottle for packaging, and the price to distributors is 15 euros per bottle, and the retail price is 80 euros, Kyle said directly. No, I won't approve this price. 30 capsules per bottle is fine. The wholesale price is 100 euros per bottle. No negotiation, Su Pinggan said directly. Damn, this is super fish oil, which is better than any heart medicine. 15 euros is absolutely impossible. With super fish oil, As long as you take it on time, it is basically difficult for a heart attack to occur. For such a powerful product, 50 euros is simply a crime. Kyle was stunned for a moment. 100 euros, the boss is really shady. The production and packaging cost less than 8 euros. However, with such a shady price, his year-end bonus must be quite a lot. Boss, I have no problem with this, but I wonder if China can afford this price. According to the exchange rate, the price we pay you will be more than 700 RMB. This is your selling price. Kyle stopped talking here. This matter must be decided by Su Pinggan. Chapter 53, A True Qualified Capitalist. Su Pinggan began to hesitate. The price he got was already more than 700 yuan per bottle. How much should he sell it for? A few thousand yuan. After thinking about it, it was really difficult to decide the price. If the drugs were not 100% profitable, the hospital would not accept them. This was a difficult problem. In some hospitals, antibiotics that cost 1 or 2 yuan per bottle could be sold for 400 or 500 yuan per bottle. If they were given 1,000 yuan per bottle, would they sell it for tens of thousands of yuan per bottle? Su Pinggan was very worried about this. Too high a price would not be conducive to sales. He had to set rules for them. Sales must increase. They could not sell at a particularly high price. Otherwise, he would suffer. If they did not agree, he would sell it online directly instead of going through the hospital channel. He had to consider how much he should set for selling online directly. Kyle, have the hospitals in China contacted you? Su Pinggan asked. Yes, the 7 hospitals doing the experiment have made it clear that they must purchase the products at any price, Kyle said directly. The price remains unchanged. Set the price for me at RMB 700. Okay, wait for the approval from China, and then you can ask them to contact me directly. Start production immediately and start the Chinese market first. With the sales in China in the second half of the year, we will have enough funds to start the global market, Su Pinggan said directly. Understood. I added a new production line the day before yesterday. Currently, the 2 production lines are in full production. In 10 days, the first batch of 10,000 pieces will be shipped to China. Boss, please go through the formalities in advance, wait for the approval from China, and I will arrange for someone to send a copy to the boss, so that it will be much more convenient for the boss to go through the import formalities. At the same time, I have signed a purchase contracts with all the top 30 fishing companies in Iceland for a period of 10 years. Within 10 years, we don't need to worry about the raw materials, Kyle said directly. After listening to Kyle's words, Su Pinggan smiled. Not bad, he controlled the raw materials first, which was worthy of Kyle's status. Senior talents are different and know how to plan ahead. Okay, you don't need to worry about the formalities, I will arrange for someone to handle it immediately. By the way, when negotiating with European and American distributors, we must emphasize that the price we give does not include shipping costs. Let them pay for the shipping costs themselves. Anyway, they have money, Su Pinggan said directly. The shipping costs are not cheap at all. Kyle almost spit out the coffee in his mouth. The boss is so black that he is not even responsible for the shipping costs. Boss, I like your decision, Kyle said directly. Su Pinggan smiled. This is nothing. He is already conscientious. 100 euros a bottle is really cheap for these people. As for the domestic price, he will adjust it later. He must complete his capital accumulation first. Boss, you need to allocate several million funds to Poseidon first. I have signed a contract with a fishery company. They send raw materials here, and I must pay. The company's account only has more than 2 million euros, Kyle said directly. Don't worry, I will arrange to transfer 5 million euros immediately, and it will not delay production. Su Pinggan discussed with Kyle for a while, then hung up the phone and let out a long breath. He turned on the computer and started to process the transfer business. Through Citibank, he transferred 5 million euros to the account of Poseidon Company. He hoped that the hospital system would not be so greedy, otherwise, he could only sell online. After finishing his work, Su Pinggan left the office and went to Wu Sikei's room to discuss with Wu Sikei for a while, and then went directly to Leipang to free up the warehouse space. 10,000 pieces of goods would not take up a lot of space. He called Lin Yite and the two of them joked a few words. They ordered 10 3-horsepower, 22 horsepower, and 10 1.5 horsepower air conditioners with a first-class energy efficiency rating. Jingai air conditioners are Lin Yite's original brand. Su Pinggan bought them at the market price directly to show his support for Lin Yide. Lin Yide has started his own business and all relevant procedures have been completed. Jingai Company, Limited has officially settled in Dongdong.com. Soon, the first round of promotions will be launched. There are not many products, only 2 categories, Jingai brand air conditioners and Jingai brand slim milk machines. This time the effort is not small. According to Lin Yide, the goal is to completely break the industry price. Lin Yide dares to do this, and Dongdong.com will definitely cooperate. This time, the goal is to shake the electrical appliance industry. Lin Yide's speed is so fast, thanks to the foundation of the Lin family. Lin Yide's second brother Lin Yishan also strongly supports it. All the procedures are handled very quickly. If you change to grassroots staff, you don't have more than 2 months to complete the procedure smoothly. This is the difference between having a foundation and not having a foundation, which is very realistic. The brothers keep in touch when they are free. They are all busy. Mabo had an in-depth conversation with his father and got 20 million funds to start the tea tycoon plan and lay out the tea base. Zhang Wenwen is centered on LS and cooperates with local herdsmen to start new tourism projects. They are all busy and busy. I strive for my own ideals and realize my self-worth in life. A week later, a foreigner named Gudaf came to Shianki Group and reported respectfully in Su Pinggan's office. Gudaf knew very well that the Chinese man in front of him was the biggest boss of the company. He could make himself unemployed with just one sentence, so he had to be disrespectful. Old Wu, please take a moment to review these documents and immediately contact the customs to apply for a green channel, Su Pinggan said, looking at Wu Sike next to him. No problem, I will go to the customs to complete the relevant documents myself, Wu Sike said seriously, and Su Pinggan nodded. Gudaf, notify the person in charge of your large hospital and tell them clearly that Shianki Company is the only agent of Poseidon Company in China, and ask them to come to me to discuss the purchase of superfish oil. After you are done, return to the company immediately. Kyle is in great need of manpower, Su Pinggan said calmly. Okay, boss, I will return to the company directly tomorrow, Gudaf said seriously. Go take a break. The company has arranged a hotel for you. Relax, Su Pinggan said with a smile. Gudaf also smiled. After saying hello to Su Pinggan, he was taken out by Jin Wenwen. Old Wu, are you familiar with advertising companies? Su Pinggan asked. Wu Sike smiled. This Su Pinggan really knows how to exploit employees. Although he's a lawyer, he still has to run customs documents. Now he is also responsible for introducing advertising companies. He has 3 jobs and his salary is not more than 1 cent. He is really a qualified capitalist. Pinggan, I suggest you recruit a professional manager to improve your corporate structure. Why do those big companies have so many departments? Each department has its own functions and special people handle professional matters. The efficiency is not slow at all. Your Shianki Group will develop into a large international enterprise sooner or later. Why don't you start to gradually improve your structure and lay the foundation for your development now? It's not too early to start now, including the running-in period, Wu Sike said to Su Pinggan meaningfully. Chapter 54, Really Rich. Su Pinggan was stunned for a moment, and began to frown and think. What's more, Wu Sike was right. He must increase the talent reserve. It doesn't cost much to do it in advance. It's better than being in a hurry when the time comes. Shianki Company must be repositioned. The company is no longer the small online store type of company. It must be formalized and must start recruiting. Su Pinggan began to put himself in the right position. Jin Wenwen, Su Pinggan shouted loudly. Jin Wenwen immediately pushed the door in, and General Manager Su said politely. Please record it. Contact a famous recruitment company, recruit, advertising manager, human resources manager, science and technology project manager, administrative manager. The company provides industry standard basic salary and bonus, enjoy various benefits stipulated by the state, and the work location is in J City. No academic qualifications are required, only your practical ability is valued. If the resume is falsified, it will be blacklisted, Su Pinggan said quickly, and Jin Wenwen made a record in her notebook. Repeat it, Su Pinggan said directly, and Jin Wenwen immediately repeated everything she had recorded. Go ahead, send it out today, Su Pinggan said, waving his hand, and Jin Wenwen went out. Old Wu, thank you for your advice, let's have a drink tonight. Su Pinggan turned to look at Wu Sike and said with a smile. Come on, I drank with you last time, and I couldn't do anything the next day. I won't drink anymore. I still need to go to the customs to submit documents tomorrow, Wu Sike said with a smile, and stood up. Su Pinggan also stood up and politely sent Wu Sike out. A few days passed, and Su Pinggan began to interview. There were many people who came for interviews every day, most of whom came from other places. However, there was not a single high-quality talent. 4 days passed, and Su Pinggan did not keep any. Damn it, I don't believe it. There was not a single talent. Su Pinggan was on his own, and continued to interview. 5 days passed, and 2 people were left. There was no problem with the resume. Zingling reviewed it, and their abilities were absolutely first class. A native of Beijing, Jizu Ai, graduated from XX University, served as the director of the financial investment department of a foreign-funded company for 4 years. Liu Changsong, a native of Jinshi, graduated from XX University and worked as a business manager of a large advertising company for 3 years. Su Pinggan looked at the two and asked only one question: what is the reason that made you give up big cities and big companies to come to my unknown small company? Su Pinggan looked at the two and asked. The current Shianki group is not well known, and the two are both capable people. Moreover, the salary he offers is lower than their original. Besides, J-City can't be compared with Beijing and Jinshi at all. The two are several levels apart and there is no comparison at all. The answers of the two are similar. They are not short of money. They mainly want to relax themselves. Although the previous work unit is good and the salary is high, it is also stressful, so they want to find a small company, so that they don't need so much pressure and live a little easier. This excuse made Su Pinggan unable to refute. After thinking about it, as long as the person is fine, he will boldly use them. He directly kept the 2 people. Jizu Ai served as the manager of the financial investment department and could recruit 2 assistants. He was responsible for the recruitment. Su Pinggan allocated 10 million funds and let Jizu Ai do it himself. Liu Changsong is the manager of the media department, responsible for the company's advertising. His task is very simple: spend little money to do big things, and spend $1 to achieve the effect of $10. After hearing Su Pinggan's words, Liu Changsong curled his lips and felt like he had fallen into a wolf's den. He continued to recruit people, interviewing more than 60 people on average every day. These people were selected after the first round and Zingling reviewed their resumes. Liu Jianhua, a graduate student, is the head of the human resources department of a large enterprise. His reason is similar to that of Jizu Ai and others. He wants to relax a little and choose a small company with development potential. He doesn't care much about the salary. The current low salary will not remain unchanged in the future. Ma Jinrong, a high school graduate, is self-taught and proficient in the internet. After being evaluated, he was appointed as the head of the network department and established a company's network department, responsible for maintaining the company's network and updating the company's website. Meng Xinghua, the head of the e-commerce department of a certain brand, made achievements and was unwilling to be lonely. He went into the e-commerce business and lost all his money. He realized that he was destined to be a worker, not a boss, so he could only come out to continue working. Han Jiabing, Ph.D., is the director of operations of the Xianchao branch of a Fortune 500 company. He is mainly responsible for the operation of medical devices. He also came this time for 2 reasons. The first is that he is somewhat similar to Jizu Ai and Liu Changsong. The second is that he is very straightforward and optimistic about the superfish oil project. He looked at Su Pinggan meaningfully, and Su Pinggan immediately understood that this was a thoughtful person. However, what he needed now was a smart person. He was kept by Su Pinggan as the director of operations. Su Pinggan spent a month and a half in a row, and the heads of various departments of the Apocalypse Group were all in place. Some had PhDs and some had high school degrees. They had different degrees but one thing in common, that is, their abilities. Each of them was very outstanding. Su Pinggan directly ordered Zingling to conduct a full-scale monitoring of the people recruited this time. It was a bit sci-fi to give up the big companies and come to a small company. Monitoring for half a year to see if there were any problems, it would be better to be careful. The 7 hospitals in China that were conducting the superfish oil trial all sent people to discuss the superfish oil. Su Pinggan, along with the operations director Han Jiabing, the legal department Wu Sike, and the media department Liu Changsong, began to negotiate with the personnel of the 7 hospitals behind closed doors. After 2 days of negotiations, the 7 large hospitals once again sent senior personnel to join the negotiations. This time, after 4 days of wrangling, an agreement was reached that Chianti Company could conduct online sales, and the retail price must not be less than $4,000 per bottle. The supply price to the 7 hospitals was $2,000 per bottle. And only 7 hospitals could be supplied within a year. Each of the 7 hospitals purchased 1,000 bottles at a time, and the transaction was cash. They were really rich. At the same time, the 7 hospitals cooperated with a media department of Chianti Group to carry out publicity, cooperate in shooting videos, and provide relevant experimental data to prove the efficacy of the product. A lot of rules and regulations were determined, which made Su Pinggan a little overwhelmed. Fortunately, he had professionals at hand, otherwise, he would definitely be in a mess. It can be said that there are not many people in Chianti Group who are not busy now. Miao Yuan's laboratory is also busy. The equipment has been delivered and all aspects of the inspection have been completed. Su Pinggan readily transferred the remaining amount, which is a happy ending for everyone. Wu Sikei is not only busy reviewing the contract, but also busy applying for laboratory qualifications. Wu Sikei has his own car, and Su Pinggan reimburses him 500 yuan for gas every month, so he runs all day long. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55. It's done. The HR department was also busy recruiting people and reviewing the applicants' information. The logistics department added 3 people, the warehousing department added 7 people, and the security department added 10 people. The operations department and the media department began to make plans for the launch of super fish oil. Under the leadership of Meng Xinghua, the e-commerce department began to see a significant increase in sales, and the Apocalypse Group started running forward. The super fish oil arrived and was directly delivered to the warehouse. The purchase money from the 7 hospitals had been received, which was considered an additional amount of working capital. Su Pinggan felt the pain of spending money these days. Immediately arranged to ship 10 boxes to each hospital, directly through logistics. News about Poseidon super fish oil has begun to appear on the internet little by little, and the publicity plan has begun to slowly start. The company's customer service has begun to receive calls asking about super fish oil. After all, Poseidon's products are represented by Apocalypse. There are not many people asking about it, only a few, but the frequency is increasing. A week passed, and Han Jiabing, Director of Operations, Wu Sikei, Director of the Legal Department, and Liu Changsong, Director of the Media Department, came to Su Pinggan's office and began to report on their work during this period. If Su Pinggan had no problem, they would directly launch a large-scale publicity plan. Su Pinggan listened to the reports of several people and nodded continuously. He was indeed a professional and efficient, but the money was spent too quickly. The previous stage of trial publicity cost more than 3 million, and the pre-leading had already laid a good foundation. Now the entire marketing plan is expected to require about 17 million yuan, which is only for the first stage. The second stage will require another 56 million yuan. Major media across the country will form a ladder-like and comprehensive rollout to let everyone know about the super fish oil product. Of course, it is also mentioned above that only 7 hospitals are supplied. These 7 hospitals provide relevant certificates, including American experimental certificates, EU experimental certificates, etc., which all set off the value of super fish oil. Old Wu, are there any problems with the legal documents in all aspects? Su Pinggan looked at Wu Sikei and asked. No problem, all legal procedures are very complete and in compliance with national laws and regulations, Wu Sikei said seriously. Lao Han, Lao Liu, take action. The finance department will allocate funds to you in time. Su Pinggan issued an order, and the super fish oil plan was officially implemented. Ho Minghe received a call from Su Pinggan on the same day, guaranteeing to allocate funds to the operation department and the media department. Su Pinggan directly transferred 70 million yuan to the company's account to ensure the smooth implementation of the plan. A week later, some medium-sized media began to frequently report on the super fish oil. The most obvious result was that the number of visits to the company's website began to increase rapidly, and the server began to be a little unstable. The server was rented, so I called the rental company immediately and asked them to ensure that the server was running stably. Otherwise, I would sue for compensation directly. The call was made by Wu Sike, but the server rental company was in a dilemma. There was no choice but to upgrade the server directly. I contacted Ma Jinrong of the company directly and asked him to replace it with a high-end server at a 30% discount. Ma Jinrong was very clear about the current status of the server. After asking Su Pinggan, he agreed directly. The cost increased by more than 4,000 yuan a year, which was nothing. After switching to the advanced server, the company's website became stable, web pages can be opened very smoothly, all kinds of pictures are very clear, and the numbers of various certificates on them are very clear, and you can check them at will. The fact that people can check the authenticity of certificates at will reassures many people. If it is not true, they will never dare to do so. They have more recognition of the products sold by Xianqi, and the frequency of calling the company for consultation has begun to increase again. 10 days have passed, the first phase of the goal has been successfully completed, and the second phase of the publicity plan has begun to start. This time it is different. Television, newspapers, and the internet have been launched in 3 ways, covering all regions of China. Experts attending physicians from the 7 major hospitals have also begun to appear on television, newspapers, and the internet, expressing the efficacy of superfish oil, increasing the authority of superfish oil, and enhancing the value of superfish oil. The term superfish oil has begun to appear frequently in your life. Dongdong.com's customers have sore hands from typing inquiries. At the same time, the 7 major hospitals have once again started the mode of demanding goods. This time, 200 pieces were delivered to each store immediately, and the payment was received on the same day, which made Su Pinggan jealous. It only took a short time, and 1,000 bottles were sold out. He couldn't help but arrange the delivery immediately. After Meng Xingho consulted Su Pinggan, he directly opened the pre-sale. Superfish oil was 4,000 per bottle. It did not support 7-day unconditional return. Only reservations were accepted for the time being. The quantity was limited. The pre-sale would be closed after it was sold out. The time limit was only 5 days. Su Pinggan was surprised on the first day. There were more than 8,000 orders, which was incredible. You know, each order was not for 1 bottle, but for 2 or 3 bottles. After the surprise, he was excited, very excited, and began to have expectations for the orders on the second day. As a result, the orders on the second day did not disappoint Su Pinggan. There were 14,000 orders, and Su Pinggan laughed in his office. It's settled. His own way has been opened. 5 days passed, and the number of orders exceeded 80,000, an unprecedented number. In just 5 days, this achievement shocked Su Pinggan, Dongdong.com, and the healthcare products industry. Delivery, fast delivery, 1 truck in the morning, 1 truck in the afternoon, and 1 truck in the evening. 3 trucks of goods were sent to Changfang Logistics Transfer Station in the provincial capital every day. Leipang's warehousing department added 2 more people, reaching 12 people. From 6 in the morning to 8 in the evening every day, except for an hour of practice during mealtime, the rest of the time is busy. The warehousing department has no commissions, only basic salary and bonuses. The workers are so busy, Su Pinggan directly announced that the bonus will be doubled this month. As soon as this news was announced, the people in the warehousing department were motivated. After being busy for more than half a month, they can finally take a breath. Look at the customer reviews of Dongdong.com, all of which are good reviews, rave reviews, millions of customer comments, and a 99% good review rate, which has completely established the status of the Poseidon brand. In the past half month, 7 hospitals requested goods again, still 100 pieces, and began to stabilize. In 1 month, the sales volume of 200 pieces stabilized. Su Pinggan immediately arranged to allocate 10 million euros to Iceland's Poseidon company to start the US and European markets. Kyle was very excited when he received Su Pinggan's notice, and immediately sent a special person to take action. Isn't it just spending money? Poseidon is not short of money now, and it can stride towards an international enterprise. More than half a month later, the market access licenses for the 2 places were issued. Kyle negotiated with the distributors, and the final results surprised Su Pinggan. The supply price is $150 per bottle, and the retail price is $500 per bottle, which is even more ruthless than Su Pinggan. Chapter 56 Only a fool would guarantee. Of course, this price only lasted for 1 year. After 1 year, the price began to be gradually reduced by a certain percentage. This was a common practice. The reimbursement ratio for publicity expenses ranged from 2% to 20% according to your sales volume. The more you sold, the more you were reimbursed. It was up to you. The dealer accepted this. After a few days of wrangling, the freight was divided into 30% for Poseidon and 70% for the dealers themselves. The dealers in the United States and the European Union agreed. Iceland's location was really good. It was not far from the European Union and the United States, and the freight was not high. According to past practices, dealers would deposit part of the payment. This time, Poseidon was very tough. It would not ship until the payment was received. If the payment was not received, it would never ship. It would rather give up cooperation. The two sides were deadlocked for a few days, and this one was considered to be passed. A few days later, the first batch of goods began to be shipped, and European and American dealers also began to promote it. The means were much sharper than those in China. A large number of articles written by experts began to appear in major newspapers, and even the experts themselves began to appear on major TV stations to promote the greatest discovery of this century, superfish oil. 1 pill a day, persist for 3 months, basically say goodbye to heart disease. After 3 months, he took 1 pill every 2 days and basically his heart disease did not recur. The slogans were very eye-catching. At the same time, a lot of experimental data was exposed. The retail price in Europe was €500 per bottle, and in the United States it was $520 per bottle, which was not low. As a result, the sales were unexpectedly good. In just 1 week, the first batch of goods was sold out. He immediately paid the second payment to Poseidon, and the quantity of goods required this time was 3 times that of the first time. Kyle smiled every day. The production lines of the factory have been fully activated. The speed of industrialized production is very fast. A steady stream of goods are shipped to the EU and the United States, and sales have begun to increase continuously. Now Supingen comes to the company every day with a smile on his face. Superfish oil is selling well, and the warehousing and logistics departments are busy, which means that the company is developing rapidly. Although the company has few employees, the people are very cohesive. On this day, Supingen was drinking tea in the office. The knock on the door sounded. Dang dang dang, come in, Supingen said slowly. Jin Wenwen pushed the door open and reported, Boss Su, Boss Lee from Pension Company is here, please come in, Supingen said. Jin Wenwen turned around and went out. Not long after, she came in with a lady, who is the general manager of Pension Group, Lee Mingson. Lee Mingson's Pension Company is definitely a star enterprise in J-City. It has always been prosperous, but since the year before last, life has been difficult. The country has begun to pay attention to environmental protection, and J-City has also begun to close mountains and cultivate forests. The cement factory is the key relocation target. Because of environmental protection issues, life has been difficult since the year before last, and transformation must be carried out. However, transformation is not so easy. There are so many workers and no advanced technology. It is very difficult. Lee Mingson, whom Supingen met when he attended the entrepreneur meeting organized by the city, is an old friend of his uncle Liu Xiaodang. They have had meals together several times and their relationship is so-so. After all, Supingen has just started his business, and no one will take Supingen seriously. Mr. Lee, how come you have time to come here today? Please take a seat. Supingen was very enthusiastic. He shook hands with Lee Mingson and asked Lee Mingson to sit on the sofa beside him. The two exchanged pleasantries for a while and drank a few sips of tea. Pension Enterprise mainly deals in the cement industry. Lee Mingson got to the point. Mr. Su, I am here to seek help today. I hope Mr. Su can help me. Supingen was stunned. How could the cement factory find me when it needed help? His expression did not change, but he began to think about it. He used to call himself Xiao Su, but today he became Mr. Su. This attitude is low enough, which is definitely not a good thing. Mr. Lee, your pension company is a big company. What help can I, a small company, give? Supingen asked curiously. Mr. Su, let me be frank. Our pension company needs to transform. I believe Mr. Su knows this. At present, we are in urgent need of a bank loan. I would like to ask Mr. Su to be a guarantor. What do you think? Lee Mingxin looked at Su Pinggan and told him his purpose. Su Pinggan narrowed his eyes. Mr. Lee, my Shianki company is so small, how can the bank ask us to guarantee it? Su Pinggan asked in confusion. Mr. Su is really polite. Although your Shianki group is not big, the super fish oil is selling well all over the country, and it is still in the tax-free period. Only with your guarantee can the bank lend us the funds we urgently need. We are all enterprises in J City. I hope Mr. Su can help us. Lee Mingxin's attitude was very sincere. Mr. Lee, how much do you want to borrow? Su Pinggan asked calmly. 100 million, Lee Mingxin said directly. Sorry, I don't do this guarantee at Shianki. Su Pinggan clearly refused, very straightforward, and Lee Mingxin frowned. Mr. Su, you help us guarantee once. We will use the second factory area as collateral. How about it? Lee Mingxin said unwillingly. Mr. Lee, I won't do the guarantee. As far as I know, your second factory area has been mortgaged. It's nothing to mortgage something that doesn't belong to you to me, Su Pinggan said very impolitely. Paralyzed, do you think I'm young and easy to bully? The reason why Su Pinggan knew that the second plant area of the cement factory was mortgaged was because the location of the second plant area was not far from Shianki. In the future, when Shianki develops, the surrounding land will definitely be acquired. He conducted an investigation, but he knew that the land of the second plant area had been mortgaged to the bank last year. Su Pinggan had to give up this idea. He didn't expect Lee Mingxin to bring up this piece of land today. It was obvious that he wanted to cheat him. Lee Mingxin was also stunned. Not many people knew about this matter. Only a few senior executives of the company and the bank knew about it. There was no news from the outside world. How did Su Pinggan know about it? This matter was troublesome. Lee Mingxin left Su Pinggan with a gloomy face. In the future, when people from the cement factory come to see me, they will say that I am not here. No matter who it is, Su Pinggan told Jin Wenwen after sending Lee Mingxin away. Yes, Jin Wenwen agreed. A person sat on the sofa and began to ponder. Why did Lee Mingxin suddenly find him to be a guarantor? It seems that the hot sales of super fish oil have entered the eyes of those who are interested. No matter who he is, Shianki will never guarantee for other companies. Guarantee is a big pitfall. Once the other party cannot pay back, you will need to repay the bank loan. What's more, it is a company like a cement factory with little net assets. You must be stupid to provide a guarantee. Chapter 57, Why should I fill the hole? A few days passed, and things were a little beyond Su Pinggan's expectations. A big boss actually came forward to mediate his acquisition of the cement factory. After he made it clear that he was not interested in the cement factory, his uncle Lu Zhaodan came forward a few days later. In Su Pinggan's office, the two drank tea and chatted. Su Pinggan looked unhappy. He did not expect Lu Zhaodan to come to lobby. Uncle, why do you want me to acquire the cement factory? His cement factory is worthless, with hundreds of millions of foreign debts, and the company's major assets have been mortgaged. In addition, the country is now increasing its environmental protection efforts, and the cement factory is bound to close down. I acquired it because I have too much money and nowhere to throw it, Su Pinggan said unhappily. Pinggan, now all the large and small enterprises in the city are in a difficult situation, and most of them are losing money. Your business here is booming. Acquiring the cement factory can also solve the problem of cement factory workers. Once the cement factory goes down, thousands of workers will lose their jobs, Lu Zhaodang said to Su Pinggan. To be honest, Lu Zhaodang himself did not expect Su Pinggan to be so fierce. After seeing the information provided by the city, he realized that Su Pinggan's small company actually had such a high turnover. It had less than 100 people at most, and it was tax-free. It was impossible not to be shocked. Lu Zhaodang was very clear about the situation of the cement factory. He did not want to persuade Su Pinggan, but he had no choice but to come. Uncle, I acquired the cement factory today. Wait and see, I will add another factory next year. I refuse this acquisition. If it really doesn't work, I will give up the preferential policy and move the company away, Su Pinggan said directly. It's an international joke. Such a big pit, the municipal government is unwilling to fill it. Why should I fill it? Absolutely not. This hole cannot be opened. You are now in the tax-free period, and there are still almost 3 years. Are you willing to give up? How much do you make a month? Do you really think no one knows? Lu Xiaodong looked at Su Pinggan and said, with a monthly sales of more than 100 million, it is simply terrifying in this small fourth-tier city. Uncle, I would rather give up the preferential conditions than acquire it. It is a bottomless pit and I can't afford it. Su Pinggan was not polite at all. The atmosphere was frozen. Su Pinggan picked up the teapot to refill tea for his uncle. Uncle, do you still remember Chengdu? Su Pinggan said slowly. Chengdu, Lu Xiaodong said. The dancing ham sausage. This slogan is not forgotten by many people. Unfortunately, Chengdu ham sausage is now completely over. The reason why Chengdu went bankrupt and died has something to do with market competition and internal management problems. However, the biggest problem is that Chengdu acquired too many broken factories and was dragged to death. Su Pinggan will never follow the path of Chengdu. Why Chengdu acquired so many broken factories, everyone knows it well, and there is no need to say it clearly. Okay, don't be so resentful. It's not forced to acquire you. If you really don't want to acquire, no one will force you, Lu Xiaodong said with a wry smile. Su Pinggan obviously thought wrongly. If I don't acquire, will it affect you? Su Pinggan asked directly. What impact will it have? I will retire on time next year. What impact can it have? Lu Xiaodong nodded at Su Pinggan, and Su Pinggan was completely relieved. What are your plans for the next step? Lu Xiaodong asked. No plans for this year. I plan to buy a piece of land tomorrow to build a super modern factory. However, looking at the current situation, it is better for me to build this new factory somewhere else, Su Pinggan said calmly. Lu Xiaodong was stunned. What kind of factory is the super modern factory? Lu Xiaodong asked. I am not sure yet. The qualification of the research institute I applied for has been approved. I am currently conducting research on anti-corrosion paint. The progress is very good. I set off for the 7th large-scale test in the coastal area the day before yesterday. It is expected that there will be a breakthrough next year. After the breakthrough, I need to build a factory to convert the results into products, Su Pinggan said slowly. It's good that you know what's going on. Don't worry about the cement factory. However, if you want to buy the land, you might as well negotiate with a bank. The second plant of the cement factory is not small and is very close to you. You can get the land from the bank. As far as I know, the cement factory has not been able to pay wages for 3 months. If it persists for a few months without improvement, bankruptcy is inevitable, Lu Xiaodong said slowly. Su Pinggan thought deeply about whether it was feasible to get the land from the bank. I will give up the piece of land. I would rather buy a new piece of land than that piece of land. The price of the bank must be not low. As far as I know, the cement factory borrowed tens of millions from the bank for that piece of land, and the new piece of land is only a few million. The cost difference is too big. Moreover, if you get the land, you need to demolish the buildings on it, which is another expense. It's not cost effective. Su Pinggan rejected this plan. It's good that you know what's going on. Lu Xiaodong has seen that Su Pinggan is planning before acting. Uncle, what are your plans after retirement? Su Pinggan asked. What's the matter? Your aunt and I plan to go around and have a look. We didn't have time before because we were at work, but now we have plenty of time after retirement, Lu Xiaodong said with a smile. He is old, and if he doesn't go out for a walk, he will not be able to go out in a few years because of his health. I was planning to wait for my uncle to retire to help me, Su Pinggan said with a smile, and Lu Xiaodong also smiled. I am old, and what I need now is to relax, Lu Xiaodong refused tactfully. The two talked about a lot of things. At noon, Su Pinggan didn't let Lu Xiaodong go back. He took Ho Minghe, Ji Zuai, and Lin Hansheng to eat with Lu Xiaodong, and then sent Lu Xiaodong to the car after the meal. 2 days later, Lu Xiaodong called Su Pinggan and said that the higher-ups had given up the plan to let Su Pinggan acquire the cement factory. Su Pinggan was relieved and called Lei Peng in the afternoon. Old Lei, bring your family over. The next step is to build an internal cafeteria in the company. Let my sister-in-law work in the cafeteria. I will contact the school for the children to go to school, Su Pinggan said to Lei Peng. He had promised Lei Peng at the beginning, and now it was time to solve this matter. Thank you, President Su, Lei Peng said gratefully. You are so polite to me. Su Pinggan said with a smile, and took out a cigarette and handed it to Lei Peng. Lei Peng immediately took out a lighter and lit it for Su Pinggan. Lei Peng's current base salary is 3,000, plus other bonuses, which is definitely over 4,000. In J City, it is a high-income family. The salaries of Lei Peng and Feng Xia in the company are over standard and not included in the company's salary system. This is specially approved by Su Pinggan. Feng Xia and Lei Peng were the first to start a business with Su Pinggan, and they must be treated preferentially. This is a matter of principle. Chapter 58. When eating with your own family, you must eat fresh food. The days passed slowly, and it was almost August 15th. Shyanki Group held a meeting to make a comprehensive summary of the work during this period. All the heads of various departments needed to attend. Su Pinggan, the boss of Shyanki Group Jin Wenwen, Secretary Ho Minghe, Director of Shyanki Finance Department Ji Zuai, Director of Shyanki Investment Department Liu Changsong, Director of Shyanki Media Department Liu Jianhua, Director of Shyanki Human Resources Department Ma Jinrong, Head of Shyanki Network Department Ma Xinghua, Director of Shyanki E-Commerce Department Feng Xia, Director of Shyanki Administration Department Lei Peng, Director of Shyanki Warehousing Department Cao Deshan, Director of Shyanki Logistics Department Wu Sike, Head of the Legal Department Han Jiaping, Director of Shyanki Brand Operation Department Lin Hanshen, Director of Shyanki Security Department Miao Yuang, Leader of the Anti-Corrosion Project Team of the Scientific Research Project Department. Su Pinggan listened to the reports of everyone, and Jin Wenwen sat aside and took notes very quickly. She graduated from the secretarial major, and shorthand was a must. After the meeting, it needed to be sorted into a document and handed over to Su Pinggan. The situation is very encouraging. The first batch of Poseidon shipped 10,000 pieces, and the 700 million yuan payment has been settled with Poseidon. The second batch of 10,000 pieces is also on the way. The company still has more than 1,000 pieces in stock, which is enough to cope with the sales during this period. After deducting the funds spent in the past few months, the company currently has more than 280 million yuan in funds in its account, 80% of which are contributed by Superfish Oil. Now it is stable, and the monthly net profit remains at more than 4 million yuan, which is the net profit after deducting all expenses. The monthly salary of the staff is more than 200,000 yuan. Miao Yuang's experimental expenses require more than 200,000 yuan each month, and the travel expenses, water and electricity expenses, etc. require more than 200,000 yuan. The bonus has not been calculated yet. The overall cost of the company is not less. It is not so simple to run a company. The profit is not much, and Su Pinggan does not care about the profit of the Celestial Empire. He cares about the profit of Poseidon. Poseidon earns euros and US dollars, which are high value-added currencies. This is Su Pinggan's confidence. Su Pinggan listened to Ho Minghe's report and was very satisfied. He made several hundred million yuan in just a few months and felt very accomplished. Ji Zuai's investment department, including Ji Zuai, has only 3 people in total, with an investment amount of 10 million yuan, mainly engaged in financial investment. The current account shows that it has made a profit of more than 600,000 yuan. It is very good to have such a result in just a few months. Liu Zhonghua's media department, including Liu Zhonghua, has only 5 people, and has spent 120 million yuan so far. The Superfish Oil product has become a household name. Ma Jinrong is in charge of the company's network department, including Ma Jinrong, with a total of 3 people. So far, the network of each office, including the corporate website, has been running well, very smoothly, and relatively qualified. The logistics department where Cao Deshan has settled has now developed into 16 people, 8 modified 3-wheeled vehicles, covering the entire urban area. It has achieved profitability last month, but the profit is not much, only a little more than 20,000 yuan in net profit. This month will increase, which is a good result. Lin Hansheng's security department currently has 36 people, divided into 2 shifts, day and night. In the past few months of the company's operation, there has not been a single loss accident, which is very in place. Miao Yuang is in charge of the anti-corrosion project team, and the experiment is progressing at a very fast speed. It has conducted 7 experiments along the coast and has made a significant breakthrough. According to Miao Yuang's estimate, it will be formed after more than a dozen experiments. At present, 8 patents have been applied for. Han Jiaping is in charge of the brand department, which has a total of 4 people, including Han Jiaping, and has issued 5 analysis reports from rating agencies. The brand of Shyanki is currently worth about 100 million yuan. Su Pinggan smiled and said, "Take it slowly. Brand building cannot be effective in a short period of time. It takes time to settle." The value of 100 million yuan is all empty. Feng Xia, Lei Peng, and Ma Xinghe all made detailed reports, and it was clear where each sum of money was spent. It took more than an hour to report everything. Su Pingyan was quite satisfied with the current situation. Some inadequate situations will be slowly integrated. Very good, our small company has achieved such great results in just a few months. It is the result of everyone's joint efforts. Your hard work will be reflected in the year-end bonus, Su Pingyan said with a smile, and everyone laughed. When we have a meeting at Shianki, we always speak our mind. If you have any questions, just put them on the table and talk about them. If you have any good suggestions, you can bring them up now and I will solve them in person, Su Pingyan said with a smile. Ji Zuai raised his hand first, and Su Pingyan smiled. Manager Ji, just say it directly, Su Pingyan said. Boss Su, can you give us some more funds for our investment department? We can only create limited profits with 10 million yuan. Can you give us some more funds? Ji Zuai said directly. Manager Ji, although there is still a lot of money on the company's books, there are many places where money is needed. How about this? The finance department will allocate 20 million yuan to you, and we will adjust it in January next year based on your performance. How about that? Su Pingyan said slowly. Thank you, Boss Su. The profits of our investment department will definitely satisfy the company, Ji Zuai said directly. Su Pingyan nodded and waved his hand for Ji Zuai to sit down. Minghe, you will allocate funds to Manager Ji after the meeting, Su Pingyan said. Okay, I will handle it after the meeting, Ho Minghe stood up and said with a smile. Su Pingyan waved his hand for Ho Minghe to sit down. Does anyone else have any questions? Su Pingyan asked. Everyone shook their heads, no questions. Su Pingyan saw everyone's performance and nodded. Manager Feng, August 15th is coming soon. Customize a batch of exquisite mooncakes and formulate a welfare plan. Report to me tomorrow, Su Pingyan said directly. Yes, I will submit the report tomorrow morning, Feng Xia stood up and said. Okay, let's stop here today. The meeting is adjourned, Su Pingyan said, standing up and leaving with Jin Wenwen. Everyone left the meeting room with laughter and returned to their departments. The next day, Feng Xia took the plan to find Su Pingyan. Su Pingyan looked at it and said, the price is fine. They must use all natural materials. Don't use any chemical raw materials or seasonings. Employees will add a barrel of cooking oil to a box of mooncakes, and add 100 boxes of mooncakes. There are also 200 bottles of top-grade wine. I want to use them, Su Pingyan said. I will arrange it immediately. It can be done in a few days. At the beginning, it was determined that all fresh materials were used. The shelf life is very short, only a dozen days, Feng Xia said directly. We write the expiration date on the mooncake box, explain the reason for the short shelf life, and emphasize that we don't add any preservatives, Su Pingyan said directly. When eating mooncakes at home, they must be fresh. Any mooncake with a shelf life of more than 10 days contains a lot of preservatives. Chapter 59. I have to go to Hong Kong again to make some money. Feng Xia worked very quickly and finished the work in 10 days. The main reason was that the wine took a little longer. After consulting Su Pingyan, she began to distribute it. It was only a few days before August 15th, and Su Pingyan began to visit relatives and friends with mooncakes and wine. 2 boxes of mooncakes and 2 bottles of customized wine. Of course, the packaging of the mooncakes and wine was very high-end. She explained to everyone that there were no preservatives in the mooncakes, and the shelf life was very short. It was best to keep them in the refrigerator. This kind of mooncake without any preservatives was very popular, and basically everyone kept it for themselves. August 15th was a holiday for the company, and the people on duty received double pay. Su Pingyan did not go to the company, but stayed at home with his parents. The small courtyard behind had been renovated, and it was close to the roadside, so the car was parked at the door, which was very convenient. 2 months passed unknowingly. The company was very stable. Su Pingyan planned to go abroad. Before he set off, he received a call from Mabo, asking Su Pingyan if he had enough money. Mabo spent a lot of money on industrial layout. He directly contracted a hill in his hometown of Anxi and invested more than 18 million yuan. He went to Wuyi mountain area and contracted a hill through field investigation. It cost more than 12 million yuan. After adding the investment of manpower and material resources, the more than 30 million yuan was almost spent. It was difficult for the family to withdraw funds for a while. After all, There were other people's shares in the family business. It was not appropriate to rashly withdraw funds to support Mabo. Even if he didn't say it, he would be unhappy in his heart. He could only rely on Mabo to solve it himself. Another way was to deal with a batch of assets at home. Ma Ziqiang's proposal was stopped by Mabo. The assets at home were all good assets. It was not cost-effective to deal with them now. Besides, it was not the end of the road yet. Mabo's store on Dongdong.com has really good sales. The price is low and the quality is good. It has received millions of positive reviews and has many repeat customers. The monthly net profit is stable at 80,000 to 100,000 yuan. The prospects are very good. Offline sales are also very good, and basically there are tens of thousands of yuan in profits every month. What restricts Mabo now is the issue of origin. It's not that Mabo can't sell, but that the product is not enough. There have been 3 cases of purchasing tea from home companies. Sales are not a problem, but production has become a big problem. Now there are 2 ways for Mabo. The first is to suspend expansion and expand after stabilizing for a year. The second is to raise funds to continue expansion and complete the industrial layout in one fell swoop. How much money do you need? Su Pinggan asked. If you can solve 60 million for me, I don't need to find Sandizi, Mabo said directly, not polite at all. I will transfer 70 million to you tomorrow, Su Pinggan said very straightforwardly. When Su Pinggan started his online business, he borrowed money from Mabo to purchase goods. Mabo asked about the amount and directly transferred more than 100,000 yuan to Su Pinggan. He did not mention when to pay back the money, nor did he ask Su Pinggan to write an IOU. Now Su Pinggan is just as straightforward. Okay. That's nice. You know the account number. Do you need me to send it to you again? Mabo was also not polite. I can't forget it. I have it all with me. I will go to the company to handle it for you tomorrow, Su Pinggan said with a smile. I want to ask you something. What is your profit margin for super fish oil? Mabo asked directly. Not high. The purchase price of fish oil is too high. I only keep a profit of more than 50%, Su Pinggan said directly. Fuck you, hang up. Mabo hung up the phone unhappily, making Su Pinggan a little bit amused. Mabo hung up the phone with an unhappy look on his face, and looked at his parents. The funds are fine. Pinggan will transfer 70 million to me tomorrow, Mabo said directly. Ma Ziqiang was very surprised. 70 million, it was settled with just one phone call. They didn't even ask what they were going to do. Wasn't the other party afraid of Mabo's loss? This was not a small amount of money. Mabo, how do you complete the loan procedures? Ma Ziqiang asked. No need for any loan procedures. I am a person of credibility. We both trust each other. Besides, he knows very well what I am going to borrow money for. If I were just having fun, Pinggan would definitely not lend it to me. Now I am doing it for business expansion, no problem at all, Mabo said directly. Ma Ziqiang sighed for a while. His son made a few real friends. In today's society, such loyal friends are really rare. After Su Pinggan hung up the phone, he smiled and said, Fuck you, I transferred money to you and you scolded me. I must ravage you next time we meet. He leaned back and began to think. Money is never enough when it is needed. The equipment needed for super paint cannot be made without 50 million. Paint belongs to the polluting industry. If you want to solve these problems, you must invest heavily. If the environmental protection is not up to standard, it will be fined sooner or later, and the workers will also be harmed, so a large investment is necessary. Moreover, the super factory that Su Pinggan wants to build must be the best in the world, fully automated, or not to do it, or to do it, it must be the best in the world. It seems that I must go to Hong Kong again to make a lot of money, Su Pinggan said to himself. In the Hong Kong stock market, penny stocks are everywhere, which refers to stocks with a value of $1 per share. Many companies issue billions of shares, and each share has a price of only a few cents. If you carefully plan and operate, you will definitely have a big harvest. It is very easy to make billions, and it is not impossible to make tens of billions if everything goes well. He got up and took his laptop to start searching, and he had to choose a stock that was easy to operate. He browsed until midnight, and then Su Pinggan went to rest. The next day, after having breakfast early, he drove directly to the company, holding a note with Mabo's name and CCB account number on it, and asked Ho Minghe to transfer 70 million funds to the account immediately. Ho Minghe didn't ask anything and started to process it directly. When Su Pinggan returned to the office and just started to make tea, Ho Minghe called and said that the transfer had been completed. When Su Pinggan got off work at noon, his phone rang. He picked up the phone and saw that it was from Mabo, so he answered it directly. Pinggan, the money has arrived. Thank you, brother, Mabo said directly. Are you Mabo? Why are you talking a little abnormal today? Su Pinggan said with a smile, and Mabo also smiled. Okay, I won't talk nonsense with you. I have important things to do. The funds have arrived, and I have to go on a business trip tomorrow to plan the planting bases of Longjing and Baluochan, Mabo said directly. Chapter 60, Barbarians at the Gate. Boss, it's getting cold. Leave me some black tea and mail it to me after I return home, Su Pinggan said directly. You're going abroad? Mabo asked. Yes, I'm going to Iceland to discuss something, Su Pinggan said directly. Okay, call me after you return home and I'll arrange for someone to mail it to you, Mabo said directly. The two of them said a few polite words and hung up the phone. The company's cafeteria has started to operate. There are not many people. Including Lei Peng's wife, there are only 4 people. They only cook one meal at noon. Registration is made before 10 o'clock every day. How many people cook how much food, no waste, sell at cost price, and it doesn't cost much money in a month. It is a benefit for employees. Su Pinggan usually eats at the company, but recently it is an exception. He plans to go out and must spend more time with his family before going out. Therefore, he goes home every day to eat with his parents and start to arrange things for the company. A week later, Su Pinggan left home with his luggage and went to Hong Kong. He settled in the hotel, Langham Hotel, and rested for a day. He went out to buy a lot of things that day and stayed in the room all the time. The next morning, Su Pinggan left the hotel and rented a yacht to go out to sea. Xuanlin Technology, a company engaged in high-tech materials, started with an original biodegradable new material from its own research institute. In order to develop rapidly, the company began to raise funds and prepare for listing. After the continuous efforts of many shareholders, the company successfully landed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The listing price of Xuanlin Technology was 5 yuan per share, and the peak reached 11 yuan. Then, the company began to stage a palace drama. Chairman Guo Xiansheng began to fight with the 2 major shareholders. During this period, Guo Xiansheng secretly contacted a Malaysian bank, obtained a large amount of funds, and strongly passed the share increase plan. The direct increase was 5 times, and the number of circulating shares increased from the original 400 million shares to 2 billion shares. The stock price fell back to 5 yuan per share. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Guo Xiansheng frantically increased his holdings by more than 100 million shares, and his controlling rights were greatly consolidated. The company was in constant internal strife, management was chaotic, and R&D was in an intermittent state. For almost 2 years, no new products appeared. At the same time, other European companies made breakthroughs and took away a lot of market share from Xuanlin Technology. If the performance is not good, the stock price will definitely fall. The company's stock fell below the issue price to 3 yuan, and the downward trend could not be stopped. At this point, the 3 people's struggle did not stop. It was not until the company's stock price reached 2 yuan that the 3 realized that they could not fight anymore. The 3 people negotiated behind closed doors. They knew the real situation inside the company. The 2 major shareholders were also ruthless. They sold their stocks to Guo Xiansheng at a price of 2 yuan per share and left Xuanlin Technology with cash. The internal strife was over, and Guo Xiansheng began to focus on the development of the company. Unfortunately, it was a bit late. After Guo Xiansheng's vigorous rectification, although there was some improvement, it could not stop the decline. In addition, a large amount of funds were withdrawn from the company. The deadline for Guo Xiansheng's loan from a Malaysian bank was also coming to an end. This was a large sum of money. If the money could not be repaid, it would be liquidated. Guo Xiansheng was smoking alone in the office, with a look of hesitation on his face. There were already 7 or 8 cigarette butts in the ashtray on the desk, which showed that Guo Xiansheng was extremely anxious at the moment. It was no wonder that Guo Xiansheng was anxious. At the moment, the situation of Xuanlin Technology was even worse. It was very difficult. If there was no large amount of external financial support within a few months, Xuanlin Technology would be at the end. As reporters continued to expose the situation of Xuanlin Technology, The stock price fell to more than 30 cents per share. Even more unfavorable news, Guo Xiansheng's wife divorced him, and the children knew that Zuanlin technology was going to end and did not follow Guo Xiansheng. They left with his wife, and the two took away a large amount of cash from Guo Xiansheng. In addition, many dealers came to ask for payment for goods. For a time, Guo Xiansheng was extremely miserable. The company's circulating funds were tight and it was about to reach the point of being penniless. Once the company is finished, Guo Xiansheng will lose everything. Yesterday, Guo Xiansheng received a call without a number. The person on the phone said that there was a way to solve the problem of Zuanlin technology. He directly pointed out that one step to heaven and one step to hell. As an old man, Guo Xiansheng understood the meaning of this sentence very well. This is someone who intends to use Zuanlin technology to make money from the stock market. If he doesn't want to go bankrupt, he can only meet this person. If he doesn't meet, Guo Xiansheng will be bankrupt in more than a month. It is easy to go from frugality to luxury, but it is difficult to go from luxury to frugality. This is the portrayal of Guo Xiansheng's anxiety at the moment. Guo Xiansheng is unwilling to experience the return to poor life. Even if Guo Xiansheng can bear it, his old mother is seriously ill and needs treatment. He can't do it without money. The expression on Guo Xiansheng's face slowly changed and became much more resolute. He exhaled the smoke in his mouth, crushed the cigarette butt into the ashtray, stood up, picked up his coat and left the office. Someone is looking for me, let them come back tomorrow, Guo Xiansheng told his secretary and left directly. Driving out of the Zuanlin building, we headed straight to the pier. Guo Xiansheng was a member of the yacht club. Even if he sold his own yacht, he could still rent one at an internal discount. He completed the formalities smoothly and rented a small yacht to set off. On the sea, Su Pinggan brought a bottle of juice and drank it slowly. This was fresh pure juice, much better than drinking alcohol. In Su Pinggan's opinion, drinking red wine was purely for show, not tasty at all, and it was a pain in the ass. Natural juice was more refreshing. He drank juice and read a book. The title of the book was Barbarians at the Gate. For those malicious acquirers, Wall Street usually calls them barbarians at the gate. With their connections and skills, two reporters from the Wall Street Journal made the parties speak the truth and obtained first-hand information. With the help of fascinating writing, they exposed the ins and outs of the largest acquisition on Wall Street at that time, the acquisition of Reynolds Nabisco by KKR in 1988, as well as the ups and downs of Wall Street's financial operations. A classic documentary of Wall Street business wars, in-depth exposure to the capital world, with financial tycoons and international giants all on the scene, KKR, DBL, Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, Lehman, Lazard, Salomon Brothers, First Boston, Bear Stearns, Chase Manhattan, Citi, Morgan Stanley, Buffett, Milken, Nabisco, Philip Morris, American Express, PepsiCo, Procter & Gamble, Kraft, McKinsey. The most recommended classic case of actual combat in the business and financial world. The next stock market harvest is a real case that happened in Europe in reality. Of course, it also happened in my country. Some experts changed this routine a little bit and harvested a lot of leaks. By introducing this case, I hope that book friends who trade stocks can be more rational and suffer less losses. Chapter 61 Weaving a Web. Su Pinggan was reading a book when he suddenly paused, put down the book, went inside the yacht, opened a box, took out a very thin piece of skin, and began to stick it on his face. In just over 10 minutes, Su Pinggan's face had completely changed. Looking in the mirror, Su Pinggan smiled. Zingling was really awesome. Just a few ordinary materials were used to make this kind of mask, which fits the face perfectly and combines perfectly with the original skin. There was no problem at all at a close distance. The validity period is 6 hours. After 6 hours, it will dry up, which is enough to solve the problem. He sat down and continued to read. After more than 20 minutes, Guo Xiansheng drove his yacht to Su Pinggan's yacht. "Come on up," Su Pinggan shouted from above. Guo Xiansheng jumped directly onto Su Pinggan's yacht, tied the two yachts together with a rope, and then walked onto the yacht. When he came to the deck, Su Pinggan waved his hand and motioned Guo Xiansheng to sit down. "Who are you?" Guo Xiansheng asked. Su Pinggan smiled and said nothing. Instead, he bent down and took out a bottle of water and threw it to Guo Xiansheng. He also took out a document. "Drink some water, don't be in a hurry, I think we have plenty of time today," Su Pinggan said lightly. Guo Xiansheng looked at Su Pinggan. He had never seen this person before. Judging from his pronunciation, he spoke Mandarin. Could he be Taiwanese? Guo Xiansheng had never thought that Su Pingyan was from the mainland. In Guo Xiansheng's memory, mainlanders would not come to Hong Kong to make trouble. There were enough leeks in the country for them to harvest. Unscrewing the lid, Guo Xiansheng gulped down a few gulps. He was indeed thirsty. He didn't drink water in the office, on the road, or on the boat. He didn't care about drinking water. He was not in the mood. After drinking, he put the bottle on the table and looked at Su Pingyan. Su Pingyan waved his hand and threw the document in front of Guo Xiansheng. Let's talk about it after you finish reading it. If you don't want to do it, you can put down the file and leave directly. Just pretend that we haven't met today. Don't leak any information. Otherwise, you know what the consequences will be. If you are willing to do it, just ask directly. As for who I am, don't ask. It's not good for you to know, Su Pingyan said lightly. Guo Xiansheng hesitated for a moment. Did he have any way out now? He picked up the file and started to look through it. As he looked at it, his expression changed. He was very shocked. His brain was working quickly, analyzing various possibilities. After a while, Guo Xiansheng put down the file and said directly, I will do it, smart. Now you can ask questions. I will tell you directly if you want to know, Su Pingyan said directly. When will the new material mentioned in the file be given to me? Guo Xiansheng asked. At the right time, I will notify you to go to the right place to pick it up. All you have to do is to arrange for the people in the laboratory to cooperate with you. You can do this, Su Pingyan said calmly. I can do it, Guo Xiansheng said very straightforwardly. The plan is very clear. Just wait for my call and release the news at the right time. After the matter is done, you can get the funds you urgently need by selling a batch of shares, and we will be even, Su Pingyan said slowly, and waved his hand to let Guo Xiansheng leave. Guo Xiansheng hesitated. Said nothing more, stood up and was about to leave. Wait a minute, Su Pingyan said. If you don't act according to the plan, you will have a life to make money but no life to spend it, Su Pingyan added. Guo Xiansheng nodded, turned and left, untied the rope and returned to his yacht, and left directly. Su Pingyan smiled at the yacht going away, took out his phone and started to make a call. After being busy for more than 2 hours, he hung up the phone and went fishing with a fishing rod. It was very leisurely. It was not until it was almost dark that he started to return with the fish he caught. Of course, the mask on his face was taken off. After handing over to the people at the dock, he took a taxi back to the hotel and went directly to the restaurant of the Langham Hotel to let the chef of the restaurant cook for him. In the evening, he ate the fish he caught today and drank beer, which was very relaxing. The next day, Su Pingyan checked out and left Hong Kong directly, heading to Malaysia. He stayed in Malaysia for a week, then went to Singapore, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, the Philippines, RB, South Korea, and returned to Hong Kong. Along the way, Su Pingyan's appearance and identity changed back and forth without any problems. According to the records on his passport, Su Pingyan had been in Hong Kong all the time, and had not been to any of them, except that he had not lived in the Langham Hotel. The net had been woven, and it would soon start to fish. 10 days had passed unknowingly, and the flight from India to Hong Kong had landed. Giatula walked out of the airport with his luggage, hailed a taxi and left the airport, and soon disappeared. In the following days, Giatula secretly met with 8 people, all of whom parted quickly after a while of discussion. At the same time, many bigwigs began to book flights to Hong Kong and go on vacation in Hong Kong. In the past half a month, Guo Xiansheng went to the Peninsula Hotel every day for afternoon tea, a pot of tea, a cake, and a newspaper. When he met an acquaintance, he would go and say hello, which was very relaxing. Su Pingyan looked at the computer. The funds in the Citibank account were transferred to an account in Malaysia after several transfers. It used the Citibank channel and was approved for a 20-fold leverage. At a price of 30 cents per share, it absorbed the dazzling blue technology on the market without showing off. A team of professional traders were all closed for operation, and a team of mercenaries monitored these traders. Only after the funds were completely delivered and transferred away, these people would be unblocked and receive their respective bonuses to live happily. The account name was a Malaysian, a newly opened account, and all the documents were real. The only problem was that this person had been dead for half a year and had not reported his death at all. Various identity documents could be used normally. Su Pinggan spent €500 to buy it out directly. After operating on the computer, a letter introducing investment was sent out to the group. The sender, "The Sky is Blue," was the code name of the action. Everyone who saw this email knew that the action had begun. The Malaysian Ramasi Consortium managed more than $10 billion in funds. Chief Investment Representative Fang Shengming flew to Hong Kong and settled in the Peninsula Hotel to start his vacation in Hong Kong. Coincidentally, one day when drinking tea in a tea restaurant, he met Guo Xiansheng. The two talked for more than 10 minutes, drank a cup of coffee, exchanged business cards, and parted amicably. Fang Shengming completed his mission and got €100,000. He knew what role he played and could roughly infer what tricks the other party was playing. However, this was nothing. He did nothing. He just said a few words to someone who wanted to get to know him. It was very relaxing. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62. Greed is the original sin. The next day, 3 small newspapers reported the news of the meeting with Fang Shengming. The news inferred and predicted that Zuanlin Technology would make a comeback, and suggested that Zuanlin Technology stocks should be bought now. On this day, Guo Xiansheng met with Watanabe Shanghai, the investment representative of RB Sakura Group, at the tea restaurant of Langting Hotel. Similarly, the two sides talked for a while and then separated. Both sides knew that their conversation was photographed by someone with ulterior motives. But it didn't matter. Watanabe Shanghai got the €200,000 he needed. The price he paid was just a few words to the person who greeted him. He had no loss and did not violate any law. He was relaxed. The next day, 5 newspapers reported the news of Guo Xiansheng's meeting with Watanabe Shanghai. It was analyzed that Zuanlin Technology was really going to make a comeback this time, and it was very likely related to Zuanlin Technology's latest invention. It is said that the people in Zuanlin Technology Laboratory have been closed for a week. It should be a certain research breakthrough that attracted the two consortiums. On this day, the stock of Zuanlin Technology rose slightly, up by 10 cents, which was very unusual and immediately attracted the attention of many people. Looking at the newspaper, could Zuanlin Technology really turn over? On this day, Guo Xiansheng and Haram, the chief investment representative of the Indian Tajida Consortium, had dinner together in a hotel restaurant. The two were talking and laughing happily. Similarly, this scene was also licensed by someone with ulterior motives, including the scene of the two smiling and toasting. The next day, 8 newspapers published this news at the same time, causing many people to hesitate. Whether this matter is true or false, many people are unsure, worried that this is a trap, and worried that they will become the leaks that are cut. Hong Kong people are all speculating in stocks, and they are gambling. This is not just a casual talk. Over the years, they have been cut by leaks and have a certain resistance. They have experienced too many traps, which makes you defenseless. However, it is the nature of retail investors to follow the trend. After the scar heals, they forget the pain. If they don't make money, they are stupid. While some people were hesitating, at the close of the morning, the stock of Zuanlin Technology actually rose by 20 cents, which made some people unable to sit still. When the market opened in the afternoon, they immediately joined in and bought some, more or less, and pulled the price to 70 cents. In just a few days, the stock price of Zuanlin Technology has risen by more than 100%. Guo Xiansheng was in his office, looking at the stock trend on the screen inside. If it weren't for the fact that he really had no choice, he really didn't want to do this. After this incident, Zuanlin Technology's reputation was stinking. 2 days later, Zuanlin Technology stock strangely rose to 90 cents. As a result, more people paid attention to Zuanlin Technology. According to the current situation, Zuanlin Technology must have some good news for this situation to occur. Following the trend is an inevitable phenomenon no matter where in the world, especially for shareholders who want to make a fortune with the fluke mentality. You don't need to buy a lot, just buy a few lots to try it out. Anyway, the stock is cheap. So try it out. They didn't know that their attempt to buy and sell a few hands was just adding fuel to the fire. Even a little bit would make many people have illusions and make more people jump into this fire pit. 4 or 5 days passed slowly, and there was no news about Xuanlin technology. When many people were hesitating, more than a dozen newspapers once again reported the news about Xuanlin technology. Xuanlin technology hired a security force of 40 people to surround the laboratory, which made many people start to wonder why so many security personnel were hired. Did Xuanlin technology really have any breakthroughs? The news began to demand Xuanlin technology to issue an explanation, which led some people to start paying attention to Xuanlin technology. The stock price directly broke through 1 yuan that day, and when the market closed in the evening, the stock price reached 1 yuan and 30 cents. 2 days later, Guo Xiansheng held a press conference to explain the matter of hiring a large number of security personnel, and many shareholders went to the scene. Dear media, dear shareholders, I solemnly condemn one thing here, that is, commercial espionage. Our laboratory encountered commercial espionage. Fortunately, we discovered it early and the samples and technical data were not lost. These data are the results of the company's accumulation over the years since its establishment. They are major results. In order to protect these results, we have hired a large number of security personnel. I have also paid attention to the stock price in the past few days. Here I solemnly remind everyone not to follow the crowd, not to follow the trend, and not to be used by those with ulterior motives. The company has no major positive announcements. It is currently just operating normally. Thank you everyone, Guo Xiansheng said, and bowed to everyone with a smile on his face. Everyone was stunned and felt something was wrong. They couldn't tell what was wrong specifically. Strictly speaking, Guo Xiansheng's joy in his eyes could not be concealed. Excuse me, Chairman Gao, what information did the commercial spies want to steal? A reporter asked directly. This is a commercial secret. I'm sorry that it's not convenient for me to disclose it. Thank you everyone, Guo Xiansheng said with a smile, turned around and left with his bodyguards. A group of reporters surrounded him, and Guo Xiansheng got into the car and left without saying a word. The bigger the thought, the bigger the stage. The automatic brain replenishment of people is really a very scary thing. At the close of the day, the stock of Xuanlin technology had soared to 2 yuan. This increase made many people start to imagine that there was no time. If the stock market continued to open, the stock price would continue to rise. As expected, the stock of Xuanlin technology continued to rise for no reason at the opening of the next day. Until the closing of the afternoon, the stock price had reached 3 yuan and 50 cents per share. Compared with the stock price more than 10 days ago, the stock of Xuanlin technology has risen more than 10 times. Many institutions have begun to pay attention to Xuanlin technology and began to analyze and study the rise of Xuanlin technology's stock. Quite a number of experts and professors have not found the factors supporting the rise in stock prices after analyzing for a long time. Everything is related to Xuanlin Technology's laboratory. Unfortunately, the laboratory is closed. The security company has an agreement with Xuanlin Technology that the dispatched personnel must cut off all contact with the outside world. They are only responsible for preventing all outsiders from entering, not contacting anyone, eating and sleeping in the laboratory, purchasing a large amount of food in the laboratory, and making full preparations. You can't get any information at all. The Atlantis Consortium in the United States has always been known for its strong financial resources and mysteriousness. Investment representative McCree is currently on vacation in Hong Kong. Looking at the news and the stock price of Xuanlin Technology, he shook his head. This scheme is really amazing. There is no good news at all, but it actually stimulates the stock price to rise. If I were not in the scheme, I am afraid that even I would buy some stocks to take a gamble without knowing what is going on. The person who designed this scheme really sees through people's hearts. Greed is the original sin. This sentence has been around for so many years, and how many people still remember it? McCree put down the newspaper and started calling the company. Chapter 63, Crazy. According to reports from the Hong Kong media, McCree analyzed that Xuanlin Technology might have made a breakthrough in a new type of material. He would visit it in a private capacity to see if it was true. After all, every new material that came out would bring huge profits. If it was true, investing a small amount of money would definitely bring amazing returns. If it was not true, his private visit would not bring any negative impact to the company. When necessary, he would directly announce in Hong Kong that this time he was visiting in a private capacity. McCree talked for more than 10 minutes and hung up the phone with a smile on his face. With 300,000 euros in hand, it was really easy to make this money. He immediately started to contact Zuanlin Technology and would visit Gao Xianxin, the chairman of Zuanlin Technology, in a private capacity. A day passed, and the news that McCree invited Gao Xianxin was sold by the people of Zuanlin Technology. This time it was different. A newspaper with weight reported the news, and McCree's identity was also pointed out in the article. After the news spread, Zuanlin Technology stock immediately began to rise again. In one day, it climbed to 5 yuan per share, returning to the original issue price. This increase was not small. This is not the end. Many media have begun to focus on Zuanlin Technology. Since McCree visited Gao Xianxin at Zuanlin building, various news have been constantly reported, all of which are ambiguous and make people imagine. The only thing that remains unchanged is that Zuanlin Technology stock price continues to rise. In just 5 days, with the release of various news, Zuanlin Technology stock price has risen to 10 yuan per share. At this point, the stock price has begun to stabilize, but the daily turnover rate is still not small. After a few days, McCree announced that this visit was purely private and had nothing to do with Atlantis. This statement was issued by McCree and Gao Xianxin with a smile, and at the same time reminded everyone not to misunderstand. Misunderstanding, private visit, only believe you will be a ghost. The market reaction is simple. Zuanlin Technology's stock price rose by 2 yuan again, reaching 12 yuan. The matter is so incredible. A few days later, many analysts and institutions began to release news, saying that Zuanlin Technology had no reason to support this stock price, which made people suspicious. At this time, Gao Xianxin held a press conference again. At the press conference, Gao Xianxin once again explained that the current stock price is abnormal and hoped that shareholders would remain rational and not be taken advantage of by those with ulterior motives. He also answered with a smile on his face, and was very polite, and his whole face was radiant. 3 days passed, and the stock price stabilized at 15 yuan. At this time, a big news broke out, which directly ignited the stock price of Zuanlin Technology, pushing the stock price of Zuanlin Technology to 20 yuan per share. The news was that Thailand and the consortium also officially issued a document to Zuanlin Technology, requesting commercial negotiations with Zuanlin Technology. This news is an absolute stimulus to those who think they are smart. Automatically replenishing the brain, it is obvious that this is what Thailand and the consortium have grasped. The negotiation with Zuanlin Technology is likely to be a negotiation for cooperation on new materials. Zuanlin Technology has really developed a new material, and it is very valuable. 3 days later, with the arrival of a team of Thais, Zuanlin Technology stock began to soar again, and the rise was incredible to everyone. The stock price soared directly to 27 yuan per share. Analysts are not optimistic about the stock. The chairman of Zuanlin Technology reminds investors to be rational. At present, the company has no good news. Under such circumstances, Zuanlin Technology stock is still rising, which makes many analysts and institutions start to think about this problem. Many people are so worried about this problem that they have torn several hairs out, but they can't figure out what's going on. Moreover, with the press release of Gao Xianxin, the China Securities Regulatory Commission has no way to ask Gao Xianxin, because Gao Xianxin did not hype, which also shows that there is no good news for his company. Why does the stock price continue to rise? Many people began to lose sleep. Only 4 days later, the news media once again reported that the Netin Consortium in Poland, Europe, officially sent a letter to Zuanlin Technology, hoping to talk to Zuanlin Technology. The copy of the document was exposed by the newspaper. The stimulated Zuanlin Technology stock price once again began to soar, breaking through the 40 mark in one fell swoop. Gao Xianxin immediately held a press conference and announced that the discussion with the Netin Consortium was about other things, which had nothing to do with the company's performance, and hoped that investors would calm down. Calm down. No one is calm now. There must be something. Otherwise, why would those consortiums contact you, Blue Technology? You can say whatever you want. Anyway, we don't believe it. We must buy the stock. Blue Technology has really made a big breakthrough. Every day, Blue Technology stock continues to rise slightly. Everyone firmly believes that Blue Technology's laboratory has made a big breakthrough. Buying Blue Technology stock now will definitely make a fortune in the future. Now, various stock analysts are calling on everyone to calm down for the first time in accordance with their conscience, but no one listens. Over the years, They have been fooled by these stock analysts and suffered so much loss. Suddenly, the stock analysts have a conscience, but no one believes it. Instead, the more they say that the risk is too high and they can't hold it, the more investors are buying like crazy. The stock price has repeatedly broken through the upper limit and continued to rise. Crazy, all crazy, this is the voice of many stock analysts. A stock worth 3 cents has soared to more than 40 yuan in a short period of time, and there is no performance support, no company's favorable support, and even the stock company calls on everyone to continue to soar on a rational basis. If it's not crazy, what is it? There is no other reason to explain. The Securities and Futures Commission could not intervene in this matter. After all, Sheng had also issued a statement, stating that the company had no good news, so that shareholders could be rational, but it had no effect, which was completely contrary to common sense. Normally, a company's stock price would rise, either because of good performance or major good news. But Zuanlan Technology had neither of these two. Zuanlan Technology also held a press release to announce that it had neither of these two, but the stock price still rose. Everything in front of us was completely a fog, making everyone confused about why. On this day, Sheng took people from the two consortiums to the closed research institute and left the institute more than an hour later. According to gossip, the three parties will continue to talk, and no one knows what to talk about specifically. The only thing we know is that Zuanlan Technology stock has broken through the 60-point mark, which made many people's eyes red and crazy, and they had only one thought in their minds: Zuanlan Technology stock must rise. Chapter 64: A True Black Technology Product. On this day, the Securities and Futures Commission received an application from Sheng, which stated that it would sell some stocks in exchange for funds in the near future. The company was short of cash, and this document made many people feel overwhelmed. Should it be approved or not? After a long discussion, Sheng's statement could only be approved. If it was reasonable and legal, there would be problems if you did not approve it. However, in order to prevent large fluctuations, the Securities and Futures Commission required that Sheng must explain to the public before selling the stocks. Soon, Sheng's reply came, which made too many people frown and think. Now Zuanlan Technology stock has reached nearly 70 yuan per share. Sheng actually planned to hold a press conference to explain that he was selling part of the stock in exchange for cash. What the hell was Sheng doing? Many people were confused. After receiving the reply, Sheng immediately announced that he would hold a press conference in 3 days to announce two major things. This time, basically all media signed up to participate, and they all wanted to see what major news Sheng was going to announce. At the press conference of Langting Hotel, more than 100 reporters came. Sheng appeared with a red face. The scene was full of flashing lights. Sheng bowed to everyone and walked to the podium with big strides. Everyone, my company's stock has risen a lot recently. To be honest, I don't know what's going on, Sheng said with a smile. The people in the audience thought, you don't know, what the hell are you talking about? Those two consortiums came to negotiate with you, what are they talking about? Do they really think we are all idiots? If I manipulated the stock, I believe the supervisory committee has taken measures against me. Until now, they haven't contacted me, which means that our company has not hyped its own stocks. Everything is the love of shareholders. The first thing I want to announce is that our company is a bit difficult to operate at present. I plan to sell a batch of stocks in exchange for cash to maintain the healthy and sustainable development of the company. After Sheng finished speaking, the people below were all surprised. This money will not go into my personal pocket, but into the company's account. After the company makes a profit in the future, it will be returned to me. After all, I am the controlling shareholder of the company, and this is what I must do, Sheng said slowly. Many people were stunned. They didn't expect Sheng to announce such a thing. The second thing is that I plan to invite all the media to witness a miracle at the Langting Hotel in 3 days. We plan to showcase a new product, a subversive product, a black technology product that will definitely surprise you. I solemnly declare one thing. This product does not belong to Zuanlan Technology at present. However, this is the first time it has been launched in the world. If you are interested, you can come and watch it, Sheng said with a smile. Okay, the announcement is complete. Thank you all for coming, Sheng said, and turned and left. The reporters were confused and didn't understand what Gao Xiansheng was going to do. No matter what, just publish it truthfully in the newspaper. Our duty is to report. As long as we don't change a word, it's none of our business. The next day, the overwhelming news media reported Gao Xiansheng's speech. Strangely, Zuanlin Technology stock did not fall, which made everyone confused. Damn, what happened to the stock market? Why didn't it fall? If any company has a controlling shareholder selling shares, the company's stock will definitely fall sharply. However, this is different for Zuanlin Technology. Gao Xiansheng made such a solemn announcement, but the stock price did not fall. On the same day, Gao Xiansheng directly sold a batch of stocks in exchange for nearly 2 billion yuan of funds, which entered the company's account openly. This news was also grasped by various media. The next day, various media reported this incident. Gao Xiansheng cashed out 2 billion yuan and the funds entered the company's account. What's even more bizarre is that this news only caused Zuanlin Technology to fluctuate for a while. At the close of the market, it rose by 20 cents. Is this completely inexplicable? Although the stock price fluctuated, it only slowed down the rise of Zuanlin Technology stock price a little, and it did not stop completely. A very powerful force was supporting the rise in stock prices, but no one knew what it was. Many heads of institutions were confused. After analyzing the relevant buying and selling data for a long time, they found that the sellers and buyers were all retail investors, and no institution participated. This was abnormal. Many institutions began to consider buying Zuanlin Technology stocks. The reason why he didn't do anything was to wait for the product that Zuanlin Technology will show the day after tomorrow to see what kind of product it is. Gao Xiansheng dared to say that it was a subversive product. He must have something to rely on. However, if it is really a subversive product, the stock price of Zuanlin Technology will not be at the current price. Many people began to struggle whether to buy or not. It was not just a general struggle, but a very serious struggle. At the closing time in the afternoon, some institutions could not help but take action and directly push the stock price of Zuanlin Technology to 86 yuan. The stockholders who saw this result cheered and spontaneously communicated that there was no problem for Zuanlin Technology stock to break through 100. Stockholders are not stupid, especially those who have been cut by leaks many times. They can easily analyze that these funds and institutions have taken action. Obviously, these vampires are optimistic about Zuanlin Technology. If they buy at this price, they will not stop easily unless they make dozens of yuan per share. The information transmission between stockholders is very fast. This kind of analysis has been recognized by most people. It is reasonable, well-founded, with pictures and truth, and you can't help but believe it. On this day, the time announced by Gao Xiansheng had come. Reporters and stockholders began to flock to the Langting Hotel. The hotel's security was on high alert. In the end, there were too many people, so they let the reporters in. The stockholders spontaneously elected 100 representatives to go in. At the same time, 30 representatives from institutions also entered. Almost 2 hours later, the reporters and the stockholder representatives were all shocked, or excited. Subversive paint, black technology, etc. No one could tell what kind of paint it was. Everyone expressed their opinions. It was amazing. It was so amazing. A layer of spray was sprayed on the egg. It fell from a height of more than one person. It didn't break on the marble, and it bounced a few times, which completely subverted people's senses. Zuanlin Technology stocks must be bought. This was affirmed by everyone, including the stockholder representatives and the reporters. That afternoon, Zuanlin Technology stocks began to soar and soon broke through the 100 yuan mark. Only Gao Xiansheng returned to Zuanlin building, looked at the stock price, sighed for a long time, and closed his eyes. In this storm, I don't know how many people will choose to jump off the building. The next day, the media published articles one after another, saying that Zuanlin Technology had a breakthrough product, a true black technology product. Under the leadership of a massive attack by institutions, investors went completely crazy, and too many people began to follow blindly. In just one day, Zuanlin Technology broke through 150 yuan. Chapter 65, It is better to pursue the enemy with your remaining courage than to seek fame by imitating the tyrant. Su Pingyan was on the top floor of the Four Seasons Hotel, wearing swimming trunks, sitting by the swimming pool and reading a newspaper. This was a suite with an outdoor swimming pool, which was expensive. Su Pinggan had only moved in for 10 days. Knowing how much money he would make this time, he didn't care about the small amount of money for staying in a hotel. It was just a drizzle, and he didn't care at all. What he needed now was to enjoy the corruption of capitalism. He picked up the phone and started dialing. Soon the call was connected, and boss appeared in Malaysian. All accounts, start clearing positions immediately and must be completed within 1 day. Settle the funds and transfer all to the account, Su Pinggan said calmly, and the voice became a pleasant female voice when it reached Shadier's ears through the phone. Yes, we will execute it immediately, Shadier said directly. Su Pinggan heard Shadier's reply and hung up the phone directly, looking at the sky with a calm face. Shadier, a Malaysian trader, led a team of people to accept Su Pinggan's employment. Everything was a telephone conversation, and they had never met. Su Pinggan used a female voice to contact him, including the group responsible for monitoring Shadier, and they had never met. Shadier hung up the phone and clapped his hands. Gentlemen, clear all positions immediately, all accounts, immediately, right now, Shadier said calmly. A dozen people began to get busy, and all the money generated by the transaction went into the account left by Su Pinggan. At the close of the stock market today, the stock of Xuanlin Technology strangely fell by more than 2 yuan, which made many people confused. However, many people did not care and thought it was a fluctuation in the stock price. Only Gao Xiansheng knew that a mysterious man had left the market, and then the stock price of Xuanlin Technology fell sharply. The next day, all the stock trading funds entered the account and were transferred to the account designated by Su Pinggan. Looking at the amount displayed on the computer, Su Pinggan smiled and immediately began to transfer funds. All funds began to be transferred under the operation of Xingling. The funds changed hands several times from Malaysia, Bangladesh, India, Afghanistan, and the Philippines. In the end, most of the funds were transferred to Liechtenstein VP Bank, and a small part was transferred to the account of China Construction Bank through Icelandic banks. Another part of the funds went to his own account at Citibank, which was handled expedited and could be instantly reversed. All the funds were divided into 3 parts, which greatly increased security. In addition, a small interference virus was implanted in the bank where the funds were transferred. It will break out tonight. All the transfer information today will be completely cleared. Even if it is restored, it will not show the source of Su Pinggan's funds. It is invisible and seamless. Even if you want to check in the future, it will be difficult to find out. All banks are faulty, and the funds are transferred from foreign banks to Citibank, VP Bank, and Construction Bank. You have no basis at all. At the same time as the transfer of funds was completed, the bonuses belonging to Shadier and the mercenaries had been issued. According to the agreement, the blockade was lifted from the moment the funds arrived, and everything was normal. Shadier and others cheered and could go on vacation with the bonuses. After completing all this, Su Pinggan smiled slightly, and then his expression became cold. It is better to pursue the enemy with a remaining courage than to seek fame and learn from the tyrant. Su Pinggan said this sentence to himself. He laughed loudly and unbridledly and returned to the room, changed his clothes, and left the hotel directly. Su Pinggan did not go to other places, but to Citibank's Hong Kong Securities Department. After discussing with the person in charge, Arad, he got a leverage of 10 times, arranged a large room, equipped with traders, and immediately began to short Xuanlin Technology in full. The next step of Xuanlin Technology's big drop is already certain. How can you live up to such a good opportunity if you don't harvest a lot? You immediately started to short. Su Pinggan is not the only one. Some smart people also started to short Xuanlin Technology. Although it only fell by 2 yuan yesterday, it was also seen by some people with ulterior motives. There are many smart people who have a premonition that Xuanlin Technology is about to collapse, and they immediately started to short. They are all very secretive, and some people even deliberately released false news, which stimulated Xuanlin Technology stock price to rise slightly, perfectly taking the blame for Su Pinggan. If the government really wants to investigate you, you will have nowhere to hide. These people are really too greedy. The market crash will definitely be thoroughly investigated. Of course, this has nothing to do with Su Pinggan. It is normal to short a stock and it does not violate any law. In 2 days, Su Pinggan's 1 billion Hong Kong dollars leveraged 10 billion stock contracts, and all of them found opponents. The reason for finding opponents is very simple. Gao Xiansheng had dinner with an Arab, and the dinner lasted more than 2 hours before it was over. This scene fell into the eyes of those who were interested and dug out the identity of this Arab. He was a representative of a certain consortium. The Arab consortium was going to participate in the new materials of Xuanlin technology. There were many institutions that were optimistic about it, so Su Pinggan established a short order smoothly. After 2 days, Su Pinggan's face changed a little. Damn, are you crazy? Xuanlin Technology's stock price did not fall, but rose slightly, so Su Pinggan paid another margin, otherwise, the bank would force the position to close. After a few days, Xuanlin Technology began to slowly fall, because the Arab left Hong Kong and Xuanlin Technology did not release any news. Many people had a bad premonition, and more people were still holding on. As time went by, the market was shocked by the news that the product was not from Xuanlin Technology. After careful analysis, they found that Gao Xiansheng had said at the press conference that this product did not belong to Xuanlin Technology. Many people began to calm down, and they broke out in cold sweats. They were sobered up by fear. Many elites began to wake up, get rid of the demons, and see everything clearly. Damn, this is the work of that big boss. Urban people have many routines. I want to go back to the countryside. I dare not clear my positions on a large scale, so I will leave slowly. Many institutions and funds began to leave cautiously. However, no matter how secretive they are, there are traces to be found. Many people began to analyze why these institutions and funds left the market at this time. Is there something wrong here? Thinking of this, many people were shocked and their bodies were soaked with sweat. These people didn't care so much. They cleared their stocks first and started to throw out large orders directly. Seeing this situation, the funds and institutions cursed secretly and increased the intensity of selling. Obviously, more people reacted. Large-scale sell orders began to appear for several days in a row, and the market was in panic. What was going on? Had they been trapped again? Everyone started to get scared, and a larger-scale selling wave began to appear, but it was too late now. Chapter 66, Wave your hand, not taking away a cloud, but taking away your billions. At the end of the day, there were only sellers but no buyers. The price of 158 yuan per share dropped directly to 92 yuan. This was because the market was closed. Otherwise, it would continue to fall. This was clear. The next day, as everyone expected, the stock price fell as soon as it opened. It fell terribly. It was no longer a cliff-like drop, but a bungee-like drop. When the market was about to close, the stock price of Xuanlin Technology had reached more than 3 yuan. Su Pinggan sat in the big room and frowned, thinking for a while, then stood up and lit a cigarette, came to the window, and looked at the bustling crowd below. He thought that he should not do everything, otherwise the fate would end early. Su Pinggan seemed to have realized something. Start closing the position, Su Pinggan said calmly. Start closing the position. Yao Xingsheng immediately issued an order, and the team members began to act immediately. Yao Xingsheng also breathed a sigh of relief. Su Pinggan's closing of the position at this time saved many lives and left a glimmer of hope. Some people are willing to close their positions now, and many institutions are eager to do so. Even though the stock price is now at 3 yuan, it will fall tomorrow. The delivery speed is very fast. They are all professionals, and they completed the delivery of each contract very quickly. 2 days later, Su Pinggan boarded a flight to London in the first-class cabin. The plane slowly took off. He looked outside through the window next to him, raised his hand and waved, as if saying goodbye to someone. Wave goodbye, not taking away a cloud, but taking away your tens of billions. You and I are destined to meet. Next time, brother will come again, Su Pinggan said to himself, turned around and stopped driving outside. He put on headphones, listened to music, and began to close his eyes and rest. In the past 2 days, more than 40 people jumped off the building. Too many people lost all their money. Even several funds declared bankruptcy. The stock market was in a panic. Although only one stock had problems, it also dragged down the market and was affected by fluctuations. The main reason is that Xuanlin Technology collapsed too quickly, and the supervisory committee was unable to punish Xuanlin Technology to give shareholders an explanation. Gao Xiansheng even held a press conference to announce that he would sell some of his shares to raise funds, but the stock price still rose. Moreover, Gao Xiansheng solemnly stated that the product did not belong to Xuanlin Technology, so that shareholders could be rational. The final result was still a rise in the stock price. Guo Xiansheng had fulfilled his duty of prior disclosure, and you could not determine that Guo Xiansheng violated the rules. What's more, Guo Xiansheng's shares have not changed in recent months. The only change was the change after the announcement of cashing out, and all the money from the changes went into the company's account. If it went into a private account, you could punish Guo Xiansheng for malicious cashing out, but now that it has entered the company's account, this reason does not exist. With 2 billion funds, Zuanlin Technology has sufficient funds to transform or invest in new projects, even if it falls and delists. Guo Xiansheng stood in front of the French window in the office, looking outside for a long time, and finally turned into a long sigh. However, this matter is not over yet. We must investigate it thoroughly. But no matter how you investigate, only 2 people from Zuanlin Technology violated the rules and leaked company news, and it was the kind of news that was not serious. Many people were full of doubts when they saw the case file. This matter was strange everywhere. However, everyone was sure of one thing, that there was a banker behind this matter, because the editors-in-chief of the 3 newspapers were also found to have problems. There were 3 million Hong Kong dollars in the accounts of the 3 people, and they were all transferred from the Philippine bank. In front of the evidence, the 3 people also admitted that it was an Arab who gave them to release this information. There was no way to investigate the others. There was no clue at all. Several representatives of the consortium who had contact with Guo Xiansheng also had a conversation. It was very simple. Guo Xiansheng came to greet him and said that he was making a friend. He just said a few polite words. There was no business or economic dealings at all. As for the representatives of the 2 consortiums and the Arab consortium, they also responded that they came to contact Zuanlin Technology after seeing the Hong Kong media report that Zuanlin Technology had a new material breakthrough. As a result, they went to the laboratory to see the new material. After careful evaluation, the consortium denied the cooperation opportunity, and everything was gone without a trace. All the testimonies were compared with Guo Xiansheng's statement. Guo Xiansheng said that he was also confused and didn't know what happened, because he didn't make much profit at all. He had already reported the sale of stocks in advance and held a press conference. Guo Xiansheng couldn't control how shareholders chose. This incident made many experts and scholars take it as a case and start careful research and analysis. As for what conclusions can be drawn in the end, no one knows. After being through the hands of experts, simple things will produce countless reasonable and legal explanations, not to mention such a weird thing. This case is not fake, but actually happened in Europe. The method is very simple and not complicated at all. When the incident was exposed more than 10 years later, too many economists and professors could not accept this fact. Su Pinggan bought 300 million shares of Zuanlin Technology through various accounts in advance. It was not that he did not want to buy more, but that he did not have much money at hand at that time. The most important thing was that the money in China could not be moved. If it was moved, it would leave clues, and sooner or later it would be traced back to Su Pinggan. The various characters in this game and other expenses amounted to more than 10 million euros, which is more than 100 million RMB. With a cost of more than 100 million, it earned tens of billions of income. A very authoritative fund boss in the United States once said that the financial fight is very simple, without so many emotions and euphemisms. The key to winning or losing lies in 2 points. The first is how much money you have, and the second is how big your appetite is. It is not as complicated as everyone thinks. If there is no prey, you can make a layout to create prey. How much you can harvest depends on the size of your appetite. As long as there is a stock and futures market on the earth, this kind of people will not have to worry about money. This kind of people are called crocodiles, and they gradually evolve into a representative of an identity, a crocodile. Financial fighting, one-shot hit, simple, fast, eat and leave, leaving no body or name. This is the code of conduct of financial tycoons. The plane landed in London. Su Pinggan did not leave the airport, but directly bought a ticket internally and flew directly to Iceland. After getting off the plane in Iceland, it was already dark. Kyle was waiting outside the airport. When he saw Su Pinggan coming out, the two shook hands and got on the car directly. Su Pinggan did not stay in a hotel, but lived in the apartment he stayed in last time. It was fully equipped with various facilities, and there were all kinds of food in the refrigerator. It was not far from the supermarket, so it was very convenient to buy anything he needed. The heating valve in the room was already turned on. Kyle went to make 2 cups of coffee and talked to Su Pinggan in the living room, reporting the current situation of Poseidon. A series of data came out of his mouth, which showed that Kyle had a better understanding of all aspects of the company, which made Su Pinggan very pleased. Chapter 67. Oh, God. Kyle, have you considered how the company can ensure profits when the price of super fish oil drops? Su Pinggan asked after taking a sip of coffee. I have considered this issue. I have already started to work on it. I am investigating the dietary supplement market in Europe and the United States. When necessary, I plan to acquire a manufacturer in Europe and the United States respectively, and Poseidon will transform and specialize in the production of raw materials. Transporting the raw materials to the branch factory for reproduction can save a lot of money. At the same time, it will not affect the normal production of Poseidon, Kyle said calmly. Very good. When necessary, we will also build a modern standard enterprise in China. In this way, we have a foundation in the 3 largest markets of the United States, China, and Europe. The rest is that the products will slowly radiate the surrounding areas, and Poseidon will be completely globalized, Su Pinggan added with a smile, and Kyle nodded with a smile. How is Dr. Luck now? Su Pinggan continued to ask. Boss, Dr. Luck has plans to resign. His plan is to give global speeches. I believe that after this round of speeches, Dr. Luck can enter the ranks of billionaires, Kyle said with a smile. I promised him about this. If he really wants to leave, just help him. We may have the opportunity to cooperate again in the future. Please notify Dr. Luck and ask him to come to my office with Nix and Deguson tomorrow to see me, Su Pinggan said directly. Okay, boss, you take a rest. I'll go back first. By the way, I've arranged a housekeeper for the boss. They will come to make breakfast for the boss and clean the house at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Except for the boss's bedroom, everything else will be cleaned by the housekeeper, Kyle pointed to the clock after he finished speaking. It was already late. Su Pinggan nodded, shook hands with Kyle and sent Kyle out. Returning to the room, Su Pinggan went straight to take a shower and rest. Flying is also very tiring. A good sleep is the best way to recover. The next day, when he woke up, he looked at the clock and it was almost 9 o'clock. He got up and walked out of the room. Hi-oh, God, a female voice came over. Su Pinggan was stunned and turned to see a woman. The woman was about 30 years old and looked shocked. Following the woman's gaze, Su Pinggan returned to the bedroom very quickly. The woman smiled at Su Pinggan's back. Soon, Su Pinggan came out in pajamas and asked with an embarrassed expression on his face, excuse me, who are you? Hello, call me Anita. Mr. Kyle asked me to be responsible for the housekeeping of this apartment, Anita said with a smile. Welcome to you, Su Pinggan said with a smile and shook hands with Anita. Is breakfast ready? Su Pinggan asked. It will be ready soon. Sir, you can go wash up, Anita said with a smile. Su Pinggan nodded and went to the bathroom to wash up. When Su Pinggan came out of the bathroom, breakfast was ready. It was very Western style, with a large glass of milk, an omelette, a bacon, a sandwich, and a vegetable soup. This is the breakfast prepared by Mr. Kyle. He said it suits your taste, Anita said. Su Pinggan smiled and nodded, and started eating. Kyle knew that Su Pinggan was a carnivore and could eat a lot of meat. When Su Pinggan was in China, he also ate a lot of meat every day. He couldn't eat meat at every meal. After eating and drinking, Su Pinggan returned to the bedroom and changed his clothes. After coming out, he told Anita, Anita, except for the bedroom, you can clean it up. Thank you for your hard work, Su Pinggan said with a smile. This is what I should do, Anita said directly. The two shook hands, and Su Pinggan left the apartment and went straight to the company. Su Pinggan just walked to the door of the company when he was stopped by the company's security guards. The reason was that Su Pinggan did not have a certificate and was not allowed to enter the company. Su Pinggan was a little bit amused and was about to call Kyle. Boss, the general manager asked me to pick you up. Kyle's secretary Nina came over. Su Pinggan nodded and followed Nina into the company. When the company was renovating, a room was specially renovated for Su Pinggan. As the boss of the company, he must have an office, even if it is vacant for a long time, it must be there, this is the rule. The office was cleaned early. Nina brought 2 clerks to clean the room. After Su Pinggan sat down, Nina prepared a cup of tea for Su Pinggan and brought it over. Boss, General Manager Kyle asked me to serve you temporarily, Nina said directly. Su Pinggan nodded. Nina, let Dr. Luck come to see me first. After Dr. Luck leaves, please ask Kyle, Nix, Degusong to see me, Su Pinggan said directly. Okay, I will arrange it immediately, Nina said and left to arrange it. It didn't take long. Dr. Luck followed Nina into the office. Nina made a cup of coffee for Dr. Luck and left. Only Su Pinggan and Dr. Luck were in the room. Doctor, I heard from Kyle that you are planning to leave Poseidon, Su Pinggan asked. Boss, I am planning to leave. You are not young anymore. I am 68 years old this year. My brain can no longer keep up with the various reactions. In addition, I want to fulfill my ideal and give a global speech. After Dr. Luck finished speaking, he looked at Su Pinggan, feeling a little uneasy. Dr. Luck knew very well how superfish oil came to the market. He did not play a big role, but he brought himself considerable reputation, which made Dr. Luck very comfortable. Giving a global speech would bring him greater fame and more affordable money. Dr. Luck knew this very well, but he was also worried about whether Su Pinggan would keep his promise, so he was in a state of anxiety. Su Pinggan smiled and understood Dr. Luck's thoughts, but Su Pinggan did not care. He had asked the Star Spirit to place a biological bomb in Dr. Luck's brain to monitor it at any time. Once Dr. Luck made a leak, what awaited Dr. Luck was a ruptured blood vessel causing acute cerebral congestion, and he would die without a single chance of survival. Doctor, I abide by our agreement, and I hope you will respect it as well, Su Pinggan said with a smile. Of course, breaking my promise will not do me any good, Dr. Luck said, feeling relieved. We had an agreement at the beginning, and I would give you a bonus of 10 million euros, but I changed it to 30 million euros. If you feel tired one day, welcome home, Su Pinggan said with a smile. Thank you, boss, Dr. Luck said gratefully. Su Pinggan held a teacup, and Dr. Luck held the coffee cup. They clinked their cups and took a sip together. Chapter 68, My Spokesperson. Doctor, the road to Poseidon has been opened, and it has the foundation to become a large international company. Currently, this small laboratory is a bit small. I want to build a large laboratory, which requires a suitable manager. Do you have a suitable manager to introduce? Su Pinggan looked at Dr. Luck and asked. Dr. Luck thought for a moment. Boss, excuse me for being blunt, if you want to build a large laboratory, I suggest building it in Europe. Although Iceland has a good relationship with the EU, there are some inconveniences. Another thing is that many senior talents are unwilling to come to Iceland to work. If you build a large private laboratory within the EU, I believe that countries within the EU will welcome it very much. I have a suggestion. I hope your laboratory should be established in Germany. One of my former students is currently teaching at the Dresden University of Technology. His name is Nyron. He is 37 years old and works in the Department of Materials. He is also engaged in scientific research, studying new solar energy absorbing materials, that is, solar panels. He is very talented, but many research institutions think his ideas are a bit unrealistic. He is still in the stage of developing at home. If you are interested, you can talk to him. I believe you will gain something. Dr. Luck looked at Su Pinggan meaningfully and said. Okay, doctor. I will go to Europe in a while. You can give me his contact information. I will contact him when I arrive in Germany. If he can satisfy me, investment is not a problem, Su Pinggan said directly. Dr. Luck nodded, took out a note from his body, wrote down the name and phone number directly and handed it to Su Pinggan. I will call him in advance today to explain this matter. Su Pinggan nodded, and directly changed the topic to Dr. Luck's global speech. The two laughed together from time to time. The atmosphere was very good. After chatting for more than half an hour, Su Pinggan sent Dr. Luck out of the office. Not long after, Kyle, Nix, and Degusong came to Su Pinggan's office together. Nina served tea to the few people and left, so as not to delay the conversation of the three. Nix, this year will be over in about 10 days. How much funds does Poseidon currently have in its account, and how many accounts receivable are there outside? Su Pinggan asked. Boss, there are 436 million euros in Poseidon's account, which can be used at any time. There is only one item of accounts receivable, and the payment for the second shipment from the Celestial Empire has not been settled yet, Nix said with a smile. The company's development is booming. Kyle, how much money is expected to be needed for the company's operation next year? Su Pinggan asked. Boss, do you want to withdraw funds? Kyle asked. I will withdraw a little. Under the premise of not affecting the normal operation of Poseidon, I plan to establish a large private research institute in the European Union to increase research and development efforts and maintain our Poseidon's leading position, Su Pinggan said directly. Kyle nodded and understood Su Pingin's arrangement. Patents are the company's biggest guarantee. If you want to obtain patents, you must invest a large amount of money in research and development. Boss, if Poseidon does not make an acquisition, 100 million funds are enough for us to operate and deal with emergencies. If you start the acquisition plan, you will need 200 million funds. Kyle said seriously. Okay, I will keep 200 million operating funds for the company. Su Pingin made a promise, and Kyle nodded. Niels, after the meeting, you can handle it. Pay 30 million euros to Dr. Luck and transfer 200 million euros to my personal account, Su Pingin said directly. Okay, boss, I'll do it in a moment, Niels said directly. Kyle, de Gusong, I have reached an agreement with Dr. Luck. I will handle the resignation procedures for the doctor. The doctor is going to start a lecture tour. The 30 million is his bonus. This is what I promised him, Su Pingin said directly. We will handle it, boss. Do you need to hold a press conference? Dr. Luck is very famous now, Kyle asked. It must be held. You can arrange it. It will be held soon. I will also attend, Su Pingin said directly, and Kyle nodded. Kyle, you have to be prepared. Next year, I will reorganize the assets. The company will be operated as a group. Each branch will operate independently. The finance and legal departments will become separate departments directly under the group. You have a financial quota and can check the accounts at any time. You are responsible for financial risks, Su Pingin said directly. I am mentally prepared. Boss, how will the Poseidon products operated in the Celestial Empire be divided? Kyle asked. All of it will be transferred to Poseidon Company. You are an independent unit. Your annual bonus will be determined based on the profits you submit to the headquarters. The headquarters will not interfere with your operations. The financial and legal personnel will be directly sent by the headquarters, Su Pingin said seriously. The four discussed for a long time, and many things came to fruition. Su Pingin looked at the time. Kyle, it's your turn. Arrange a suitable restaurant. We will have a drink together at noon. There is still some time now. Go and arrange things, Su Pingin said with a smile. No problem, I'll arrange it, Kyle also said with a smile. Kyle and Niels left, and de Gusong stayed. Go ahead, Su Pingin said with a smile. De Gusong also smiled, and his thoughts were seen through. Boss, I have a few friends who want to meet you, de Gusong said directly. De Gusong, there's nothing we can't say between us, you can just say it, Su Pingin said directly. Boss, you know, I have a few friends working in the city government, 2 of whom want to run for councillors, which requires a lot of money, so I want to ask you for some sponsorship, and there's Dick, the current deputy mayor of Reykjavik. He has signed up for next year's mayoral election and wants to meet you, de Gusong told the truth. What is Dick's future like? Is there any hope of winning? Su Pingin asked directly. It's a tense situation now. Dick belongs to the largest independence party in Iceland, and his opponent is from the Progressive Party, who is very motivated, de Gusong reported truthfully. De Gusong, actually, the development of a company to a certain extent is inseparable from the political party. I am very clear about this. However, what we need are strong partners, not losers. Losers cannot provide us with any protection. If Apocalypse Group wants to develop into a global company, it will inevitably have to deal with local governments. We are businessmen, not politicians. We can provide support, which is fine. The problem is what they can bring us in return, in Iceland. Everyone knows that you are the exclusive lawyer of Boss Poseidon and my spokesperson. Therefore, you must have a clear judgment about who can be supported and who cannot be supported. You should understand what I mean, Su Pingin said seriously. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69, Honesty is a must. Boss, I understand what you mean. Thank you for your trust, de Gusong said seriously, and Su Pingin nodded. You should have an analysis. Tell me, Su Pingin said directly. De Gusong began to tell everything he knew. Iceland is not large in area, with a population of more than 300,000. Although the Independence Party is the largest party, it is not without opponents. Every election is very fierce. Dick participated in the mayoral election as a deputy mayor. He is an Independence Party member, But the Independence Party has 3 candidates for the mayor of Reykjavik, and Dick is only one of them. If you count people from other parties, it is currently a stalemate. At present, a strong support is needed. Dick knows Dagusong. With the rise of Poseidon, he set his sights on Poseidon and expressed his intention to Dagusong, hoping to talk to the boss of Poseidon. As for the 2 friends who want to run for parliament, to be honest, Dagusong is not very optimistic. It is not so easy to run for parliament. Supingan was embarrassed to refuse because of face. He refused, and his friends couldn't say anything to Dagusong. After Dagusong finished speaking, Supingan began to ponder, and the time spent thinking was not short. Dagusong, you can talk to Dick, and again, what can he give us in return? If there is no valuable return, we can support others. As for your 2 friends, tell them that if they can get through the first stage, I will give them support. If they can't get through the first stage, then I'm sorry, Supingan said seriously. Okay, boss, I will handle these things immediately tomorrow, and there will be news tomorrow night at the latest, Dagusong said seriously, and Supingan nodded. Dagusong left and returned to his office, while Supingan browsed the information in his office, mainly browsing the information of this Icelandic election. Dr. Luck returned to his office, sat down and looked around the office. It has been more than 3 years, and he is going to leave here. He is really reluctant, but his health is really a bit bad. Giving speeches and traveling everywhere may make him feel better. He took out the phone and started to dial directly. Soon, the call was connected. A man's voice came from the phone of Dr. Nyren. The boss will leave Iceland to visit some EU countries in a while. I introduced you to the boss and left your phone number. You must be prepared and don't be perfunctory. You must provide real data, otherwise, you will not be accepted. Also, you must be honest. You understand what I mean, Dr. Luck said seriously. Nyren was a graduate student of Dr. Luck when he taught in Germany. The two had a very good relationship. Even after Dr. Luck retired, the two kept in touch. Nyren visited Dr. Luck once a year. Since the advent of superfish oil, Dr. Luck's fame has risen directly to the world level. Nyren discussed with Dr. Luck whether he could get investment from Poseidon boss. Dr. Luck knew his own business and only said that he could recommend Nyren, but he couldn't guarantee the result. I understand, thank you, Doctor. Nyren was excited. He could definitely complete his project by obtaining financial support. At that time, those who looked down on him would be trampled under his feet. At noon, Supingan, Dagusong, Kyle, and Nils went to a high-end hotel for dinner. It was very Icelandic, with a lot of seafood but not expensive. Nils was with him. So it was Nils's responsibility to pay the bill. In the afternoon, several people did not go to work to avoid affecting their image. The work had been arranged, so they went home to rest. Supingan did the same. After returning to the apartment, he drank some honey water and went to rest. He asked Anita to prepare dinner for him and then he could go home. If he got up hungry at night, he could heat it up himself. That night, Dagusong contacted Dick and conveyed Supingan's words. Dick said that he understood and that this was normal. The next afternoon, Dick contacted Dagusong and hoped to meet Supingan and have dinner together in the evening. After asking Supingan, Dagusong arranged the hotel and the two parties agreed to meet at 7 p.m. Dagusong didn't know how Supingan talked with Dick, but he only knew that Supingan gave Dagusong a check for €1 million the next day and asked Dagusong to donate it to Dick. The Icelandic election is very interesting. After several rounds of voting, if Dick can pass the first round, Apocalypse Group will provide strong support in the future. Supingan also explained this to Dagusong. The two discussed for a long time, and Dagusong left the company to make arrangements. Reporters from many media organizations in Europe and even the world rushed to Reykjavik, Iceland. Poseidon Company was going to hold a press conference. Dr. Luck, the inventor of superfish oil, had a major announcement. Now Dr. Luck is in the limelight. The effect of superfish oil has been recognized by all heart patients. Many people think that this is one of the greatest inventions of this century. Now Dr. Luck wants to make a major announcement. He must get first-hand information, so he sent people to go. 2 days later, the press conference was held as scheduled at the Reykjavik Grand Hotel. Dr. Luck announced his resignation on the grounds that his body was no longer suitable for research. At the same time, Supingan also showed up, thanked Dr. Luck for his efforts, and hugged Dr. Luck. Both of them had tears in their eyes. Dr. Luck thanked Supingan very directly, thanking Su Pinggan for investing so that he could continue his research and make super fish oil come into being. He has no regrets in his life. He will start his global speech next year to share his experience in developing super fish oil with everyone. The scene was very touching. Dr. Luck really cried and hugged Kyle, the general manager of Poseidon. The two have cooperated for so many years and have a deep friendship. Kyle has given Dr. Luck a lot of support. Su Pinggan said that Poseidon is Dr. Luck's home. If one day Dr. Luck is tired outside, he can go home at any time. Dr. Luck shed tears and the three of them hugged together. This touching scene was recorded by the cameras of reporters. Next, Su Pinggan will invite Dick and Colin, the head of the Fishery Workers Association, to come on stage. Poseidon will donate €1 million to the Icelandic Fishery Workers Association in the name of Dr. Luck to help those fishery workers with difficult families. During the whole process, Su Pinggan said a lot of good things about Dick, which made Dick very excited. He knew very well what today's press conference would bring him. He directly invited Dr. Luck and Kyle to the stage, and the five of them shook hands together. This scene was recorded by reporters. Chapter 70. The press conference was still going to go on. When it came to the question and answer session, Su Pinggan left the room and left the venue to Dr. Luck, Kyle, Dick, and Colin, because Su Pinggan knew that reporters were very interested in him. The rise of Poseidon was too sudden. Kyle had always been the one to deal with everyone. Everyone thought that Poseidon was an Icelandic company. Who knew that the boss of Poseidon was actually a Chinese? You have to know that this is Poseidon, the company that owns super fish oil. The profits created by Poseidon belong to Su Pinggan. There are only 192 people in Poseidon, and the company's production equipment is a world-class fully automated production line. This is known. Many reporters have been approved to enter Poseidon's production workshop for interviews. Such a small company has created such amazing profits, which makes many people drop their jaws. Many institutions have given Poseidon a very high valuation. Super fish oil alone is worth €10 billion. Such a company with a market value of €10 billion was actually invested by Chinese people. This is something that no one expected. This is a good topic for hype. A company with a market value of 10 billion, no one is not envious. More than half an hour later, the four returned, all sweating profusely. Looking at Su Pinggan and De Gusong sitting there, they all smiled bitterly. You are relieved, but we are being targeted by reporters. Boss, although you avoided the reporters today, I believe that the reporters will definitely dig out all your details. This is Europe, not China. The power of reporters is very terrible, Kyle said with a smile. It doesn't matter. This matter can't be concealed. The company has changed, and it will be dug out sooner or later, Su Pinggan said slowly. Su, you will be famous in a few days. I believe that with Dr. Luck's global speech, you will be even more famous, Dick said with a smile. It will definitely be famous. I decided to mention Su's name in every speech, Dr. Luck also said with a smile. After listening, Su Pinggan slapped his forehead and kept silent, while Dick and Dr. Luck bumped fists. Everyone else laughed, rested for a while, and went to eat together. The atmosphere was very good. The reporters were very efficient. On the same day, news of Dr. Luck's resignation began to appear on the internet. At the same time, it was also revealed that the boss behind Poseidon Company was a Chinese. The evaluation of Su Pinggan was, the luckiest boy of the century, the luckiest investment of the century, and so on. The next day, the newspapers began to report on Poseidon Company, but they still focused on Dr. Luck. On the third day, the headlines on the front page changed, and titles such as, The Luckiest Boy of the Century, and, The Luckiest Investment of the Century, began to flood the screen. The reporters' fighting power was really strong. They dug up Su Pinggan's details. Even though Su Pinggan was a Chinese, a lot of information was dug up by people with ulterior motives. Various news flew all over the sky, making Su Pinggan completely famous, and even more famous. A long report about Su Pinggan in the British Times completely occupied the top of the click list, and there was an endless stream of paid reprints, which made the newspaper's board of directors open champagne to celebrate and make a fortune. The newspaper used information from interviews with Dr. Luck, General Manager Kyle and others, and used a speculative narrative method to restore Su Pinggan's entry into Poseidon. The ups and downs made people jealous from the bottom of their hearts. He easily acquired a company worth tens of billions of dollars. This is too lucky. The content is as follows. Dr. Luck has been conducting research on fish oil for a long time, including publishing papers during his university teaching. Fish oil has great potential to be developed, but many people don't care about this, and no one invests in Dr. Luck. After retirement, Dr. Luck continued his research and spent all his pension. In order to continue his research, he had to join Poseidon, because Iceland was convenient for obtaining high-quality fish oil, which allowed Dr. Luck's research to continue. At that time, Poseidon did not belong to Supingen, but to Herbert, and Poseidon was on the verge of bankruptcy. Supingen, who came to Iceland for a tour, took a fancy to this company. Supingen himself was engaged in the business of dietary supplements in China. Supingen's consideration should be that after acquiring Poseidon, he could sell foreign dietary supplements himself. After all, the effects of foreign dietary supplements are much better than the quality of health products in China. As a result, Dr. Luck talked to Supingen in detail and persuaded Supingen to invest heavily and completely replace the laboratory equipment and factory production equipment. For this, Supingen invested more than 10 million euros. As a result, with the help of advanced experimental equipment, Dr. Luck completed his research and development and achieved amazing success. Super fish oil came out. This product alone made Poseidon a large company with a market value of over 10 billion. The article ended with Dr. Luck's words, "Su acquired Poseidon. This is my luck, Poseidon's luck, and mankind's luck." This detailed article was published by The Times. Not only other EU countries forwarded it, but also media in various countries around the world began to forward it. China was no exception and was forwarded by many media. This caused a big wave of exaggeration in China. A kid quietly owned a large company with a market value of over 10 billion euros. It is impossible not to be jealous. Looking at the photo of Supingen above, everyone was envious and jealous. A few days later, the news that Supingen's company enjoyed the tax-free policy in J-City also spread, which made people even more unacceptable. How much money Poseidon made in a year could be estimated by anyone, and it was not taxed, which made people's eyes red. Many media began to speculate whether there was collusion between officials and businessmen, and the spearhead was directly pointed at the J-City government. For a time, public opinion was surging, which was shocking. The J-City government was forced to hold a press conference to clarify that the policy of encouraging college students to return to their hometowns to start businesses had been introduced a long time ago, and it was not a policy specially introduced for Supingen. It already existed before Supingen returned to his hometown to start a business. According to the investigation, Supingen could continue to start a business in Shanghai after graduating from university. Supingen gave up the high-quality life in Shanghai and returned to his hometown to start a business. It was legal to grant tax exemption according to the policy. The J-City government welcomed more outstanding graduates to return to their hometowns to start businesses. After the press conference, the media found that many cities had similar policies, and some had policies that were better than those of the J-City government. Now no one said that there was collusion between officials and businessmen, and they could only envy and hate. Chapter 71 The Enviable Dormitory 507. 2 days later, the BG Goose website reported another piece of news, Enviable XX University, Enviable Dormitory 507. A piece of news directly rose to the top of the click list, completely suppressing some stars who spent money to buy traffic, and each of them was full of resentment. The news report introduced in detail Supingen, Mabo, Lin Yide, Zhang Wenhan, Li Rulong, and Su Minggang, 1 dormitory, 4 big bosses, and 2 civil servants, which made people envious and jealous again. The media interviewed XX University and Supingen's teachers, who spoke highly of Dormitory 507 and were very united. Supingen's past also began to be dug up, including Supingen's lack of capital to start an online store, and several good friends in the dormitory lent money to Supingen. Except for the first year when his family gave him money, Supingen earned all the expenses for college in the remaining years by opening his own online store. It can be said to be very inspiring. The deeds of poor college students who started their own businesses with hard work are still very marketable. Moreover, the fact that several people conducted research on the tea industry during school was also revealed by the school. They worked tirelessly to travel to tea production areas and tea markets across the country and visited thousands of people. Their deeds were very touching, making people understand that the success of several people was not obtained by luck, but through hard work. The school also called Mabo to communicate about this matter. Mabo certainly had no objection and directly agreed on behalf of Su Pinggan and others. Now promoting themselves as advertising for their own companies, so why not do it? Mabo, after graduation, did not go to work in the family company, but started his own business and founded ZIT Company, Limited. At present, the market value of ZIT Company, Limited exceeds 100 million. Lin Yide, after graduation, helped the family company for a while, and this year he also started his own business and founded Lin's Electric Appliance Company, which currently has a market value of over 50 million. Zhang Wenren, after graduation, took over the family's travel company. In just 1 year, he opened up 4 new travel routes, making the company's performance flourish, and the current market value exceeds 100 million. Li Rulong and Su Mingyang also passed the local civil service exam with their own strength and served the people. It can be said that the 6 people in the dormitory are all talented. A photo was uploaded at the end of the article. The 6 people above are very young, wearing basketball uniforms and sweat on their faces. The location is on the school playground. This is a group photo after the dormitory basketball game. The school collected a copy and didn't expect it to be of great use. The title of Inspirational Dormitory and Inspirational Roommates is spread all over the world. The leaders of XX University are completely grinning from ear to ear. Cultivating inspirational students who are useful to society has made the school completely famous. When the media came to find information, the school cooperated vigorously. Now the rewards are here. When Mabo and the others saw the news about Su Pinggan, they were all confused. Poseidon turned out to be Su Pinggan's industry, and the market value exceeded 10 billion, and it was fucking euros. They were all completely dumbfounded. With the in-depth reports of the media, several people also became famous with the reports. They all laughed. How inspirational. Mabo laughed alone in the office and walked out of the office after laughing. We will go to group patients after get off work this afternoon. I will treat you. You can bring your girlfriend or boyfriend, Mabo announced with a smile, which immediately caused cheers from the company's employees. Lin Yide's father was also very shocked. The mistress roommate turned out to be the boss of a company with a market value of over 10 billion euros. In this way, the mistress's future path does not need to be worried about himself. With Su Pinggan behind Lin Yide's future development can be imagined. Li Tingting also saw the news. She was in a bad mood all day. She sat alone on the sofa at home and sighed deeply. It was not meant to be. Now it was impossible to turn back. Li Tingting's parents were also stunned and helpless. They knew that Li Tingting had a new boyfriend, but who could have known that Su Pinggan would be so fierce? The two had been separated for more than a year, but he was worth over 10 billion euros. Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine in this world. Mabo, Lin Yide and others called Su Pinggan and said that he must treat them to a meal. If he didn't, it wouldn't be over. Su Pinggan patted his chest and said that he would arrange it to appease the brothers' resentment. Damn it, you are worth tens of billions without saying a word. I will feel unbalanced if I don't rip you off. Su Pinggan browsed the domestic news and immediately called Lin Hanshen to arrange people to go to his home. He couldn't let his parents be harassed. Lin Hanshen arranged people on the same day. 4 people accompanied Su Hong and his wife every day. Su Pinggan was still in Reykjavik, Iceland, and didn't start his European trip. The reason was that he was too famous now. He wanted to travel to the EU alone. It was too dangerous to travel alone. There must be many people who wanted to take advantage of him. In the eyes of many people, he was just picking up a company with a market value of tens of billions for nothing. He had to be cold and wait until the limelight passed before traveling to the EU. Otherwise, it would be troublesome to be recognized. He had to bring guards with him. He couldn't leave Iceland for the time being. He would talk about it after Christmas. He could calmly choose a suitable security company. Before Su Pinggan had chosen a security company, someone had already come to him. Tomorrow is the Western Spring Festival and Christmas. Su Pinggan must be alone in the apartment. Today, he went to a supermarket not far away to buy a lot of food. Anita will definitely not come tomorrow, so he can only eat by himself. When Su Pinggan returned, Zingling reminded Su Pinggan in his mind that there were 2 people in the room, and they were carrying guns. Zingling determined based on the conversation between the 2 that the 2 were blackmailing, not kidnapping. Su Pinggan smiled. Zingling, their guns can't hurt me, right? Su Pinggan said directly. Of course, with me here, you won't be hurt, Zingling said very confidently. Then what do I have to be afraid of? Look who they are. I am very short of desperate people. What we are going to do in the future will definitely affect the interests of many people. It won't work without a certain amount of power, Su Pinggan said as he went upstairs. Zingling was silent. And he had understood what Su Pinggan meant. Carrying 2 large bags, he opened the door and turned on the light. He saw 2 big men sitting on the sofa looking at Su Pinggan. Su Pinggan acted as if he didn't see them. He went straight to the kitchen to put away his things and then came out. He calmly went to the side to boil water. The 2 big men looked at each other. The meaning in their eyes was very clear. Are we heir? Although the 2 had questions, they looked at Su Pinggan silently. Sooner or later, you need to speak. Whoever speaks first will lose. Holding the kettle in his left hand and the simple kung fu tea set he carried with him in his right hand, he walked directly towards the 2 people. He easily met the 2 people in front of him and poured 3 cups of tea with a set of smooth operations. Chapter 72. Sorry, there is no place for you on Earth. It's very hard to climb down from the roof. Have a cup of tea, Su Pinggan said to the 2 of them, making a gesture for them to drink tea, and picked up a cup of tea to taste. The expressions on the 2 people's faces changed. Su Pinggan actually knew that they came down from the roof. They looked at each other, pretended to be calm, picked up the teacup and started to drink tea, and looked at Su Pinggan without saying a word. After drinking a cup of tea, Su Pinggan filled it up for himself, but did not pour tea for the 2 people opposite. Tell me, it's not a good thing to be a puppet after such hard work, Su Pinggan said slowly. Mr. Su, I admire you. Can you tell me how you knew we came down from the roof? One of the big men spoke in standard French. Don't care about these, tell me your purpose. If I judge that you have malicious intentions, I don't mind letting you accompany the king crabs, Su Pinggan said with a smile. The 2 looked at each other. Su Pinggan in front of them made them puzzled. They adopted the second option, which was safer. Mr. Su, we are from the French Black Fox Security Company. My name is Buck, and this is my colleague, York. We have no ill intentions. We have received news that Mr. Su will soon visit the EU region. We are here to discuss security cooperation with Mr. Su. We have the ability to protect Mr. Su's safe travel. As long as Mr. Su pays a fee, it will be fine. Buck looked at Su Pinggan and slowly stated his purpose. Black Fox Security Company, Su Pinggan said to himself, and stood up directly. He went to the side to pick up the laptop and came back, and began to operate the computer with both hands quickly. None of the 3 spoke. The only sound in the room was the sound of Su Pinggan typing on the keyboard. After a while, Su Pinggan stopped typing and looked at the 2 people. The Black Fox Security Company has been established for quite a while, more than 8 years ago, with 68 employees, 29 of whom are combat team members. Mainly York is in charge according to the data. You were barely able to maintain the company in the first 5 years, and even lost money. If nothing unexpected happens, you should be unable to operate or be destroyed by other groups. But your security company has actually changed since 3 years ago, becoming stable and successfully completing 3A level commissions. At the same time, it has shifted its focus to normal security projects, and the competition with other groups has been greatly eased. Can you tell me why it has changed? I'm very curious, Su Pinggan said calmly while looking at Buck. Who are you? Buck's face changed, including York next to him, and his face also changed, and his hand touched his waist. No, Su Pinggan said with a smile, raised his hand and stretched out a finger and waved it, meaning very simple, don't act rashly. You 2 can look at each other's bodies, Su Pinggan said with a smile. Buck and York were stunned for a moment, and looked at each other. There was nothing in front, but it was different behind. Each of them had 5 red spots of light on them, which were shining through the window. York's hand slowly left his waist. Sweat appeared on the faces of the 2. In their minds, this was the infrared side of the long-range sniper rifle, which could shoot them through at any time. The 2 began to sweat. It's still the same question as before. Can you tell me why you changed? Su Pinggan was really curious. According to the information provided by Zingling, the Black Fox Security Company should have disappeared 3 years ago, but now it is alive and well. This is very abnormal. There's nothing to say. We know that we have made too many enemies. We have negotiated with all the hostile forces. We slowly transformed to resolve the problems between us. Buck looked at Su Pinggan and said. Su Pinggan shook his head. Is this an elite? How can this method not even deceive someone who is just starting out? When you say this, isn't it obvious that you can't make the decision? It's too easy to tell whether the person standing behind you is a person or an organization. Su Pinggan is sure that there is another person behind Buck and the other two. This person is the boss of Black Fox Security Company, but this person is hiding in the dark, not an organization. If it is a powerful organization, it will not let Buck and the others transform. It can only be a person with relatively strong ability. It doesn't matter if you don't say it. The Star Spirit is already tracking you. Don't think that you can hear Buck's conversation with me and I don't know your existence. Through the device, the Star Spirit can completely lock your position, and you will never know the existence of the Star Spirit until you die. Mr. Su, we are here to discuss cooperation with you. If you don't want to cooperate with us, we will leave without saying anything. Buck looked at Su Pinggan and said seriously. The change of things is completely beyond expectations. The Su Pinggan in front of him is very unusual. It is not the simple luck that can be explained by the newspaper. This is a big trouble. It deceived everyone. Now I am interested in you, Black Fox. Relax, use your words, I have no malice, understand, you can see that you have been unlocked, Su Pinggan said calmly. After that, he poured himself a cup of tea and tasted it slowly. Buck and York looked at each other's backs. Sure enough, the red light spot had disappeared. The two of them breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the calm Su Pinggan in front of them, they felt a little scalp numb. The target has been locked. The voice of the Star Spirit appeared in Su Pinggan's mind, and Su Pinggan's face was full of smiles again. I am interested in you, Black Fox, or I am interested in the people behind you. Let's make a deal. Su Pinggan looked at the two and said slowly. What deal? Buck asked, staring at Su Pinggan without blinking. It's very simple. Today doesn't count. Starting tomorrow, you two and the people behind you have 3 days to hide. After 3 days, you will be shot once every day. Don't worry, I won't let you die. You will see the bullet hitting the object in your sight. The time is 5 days. You will see it once every day. After 5 days, you will bring the people behind you to see me. There are only 2 days. If you don't come to see me after 2 days, sorry, there is no place for you on Earth. After Su Pinggan finished speaking, he looked at Bao and the others with emotionless eyes, which scared the two. Promise him. A voice appeared in the ears of the two, bringing them back to their senses. Okay, we promise you, Buck said with a complicated look at Su Pinggan. Su Pinggan smiled easily. It's late, go through the door, and waved his hand, asking the two to leave. Buck and York looked at each other, stood up, walked directly to the door, opened the door, and left. Chapter 73. We can talk seriously now. It's true that when you are sleepy, you can use your pillow. Su Pinggan smiled, drank a few more cups of tea, and went to take a shower and rest. York and Buck returned to the place where the two of them lived with a solemn look on their faces. It was located in the suburbs, in a lonely house. The two rented it for a week, on the grounds of traveling to Iceland. After sitting down, Buck took out a bottle of wine and poured 2 glasses and handed one to York. They both took a big sip. What happened today was completely beyond their expectations. In their impressions, this was a very easy thing. As a result, the target changed from a small goldfish to a great white shark, which was scary. Ding ding ding. Buck's mobile phone rang. Buck took it out and saw garbled characters, so he answered it directly. After talking for a long time, he put down the phone and raised his hand to drink the wine in the glass. Tomorrow we will separate and go around according to our own wishes. Try to keep a distance from him as much as possible. We will see the situation after 3 days, Buck said directly. York nodded, knowing very well who Buck was talking to just now. The next day, after paying the room fee, the two separated. Buck flew directly to Denmark, and York took a boat directly to Norway. The two took 2 different routes and 2 different means of transportation to see if they would see bullets shooting in 3 days. At the same time, in a small farmyard in the suburbs of Marseilles, France, a man left a farm with a bag on his back after talking to Buck, and ran to the port at a very fast speed, and also left his destination. He reacted very quickly. At dawn, Su Pinggan opened his eyes in a daze. Today is Christmas, the spring festival for Westerners. Every place has started to have holidays. Except for some service places, no one is hanging around outside. Su Pinggan got up, washed up, made some food, and went to play games directly. There is always something to kill time on boring days. After staying at home for 2 days, Su Pinggan couldn't stand it anymore. He said hello to Kyle and to Gusong, and went out to travel for a few days. He left the apartment with a small bag and continued his Iceland travel plan. He hadn't visited many places. Now he had time, so he took a slow turn. 3 days passed, and York arrived in Lublin, Poland, and stayed in a hotel in the suburbs. Buck had already arrived in Gijón, Spain, and also stayed in a hotel in the suburbs. In Agadir, Morocco, there was also a person staying in a resort hotel, located by the sea, with its own dock. A person sat in the shade of a tree and drank juice, with a very solemn expression on his face. Looking at the time, York felt irritated and went to take a shower directly, a cold shower, so that he could relax. Shooting is not a joke, and it is impossible not to worry. After taking a shower, York poured himself a glass of wine. In the other hand, he held a few darts, intending to throw darts to relax. Snap, 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 snap. The 6 darts in his hand were thrown, and he planned to walk over to take down the darts and continue throwing. With a snap, a bullet shattered the glass and hit the target in front of York. York was stunned for a moment, and soon reacted. He immediately turned over to the sofa and reached out to get the gun hidden under the sofa. After hiding for more than 10 minutes, the situation was calm. York stood up, opened the window and scanned. He found that there were too many places where he could shoot at his room. He turned back to the room, came to the target, and took down the target. After dismembering the target, a yellow-orange bullet appeared in front of York. York's face was extremely solemn. Zijin City is close to the sea, and the wind is strong. Buck returned to the room and took a shower. He planned to close the window. He walked to the window, but did not close the window. Instead, he opened it and walked to the balcony. He took a deep breath and thought to himself, what will the other party do when the 3 days are up? With a pop, Buck was stunned. A piece of the balcony next to him was hit. Buck's body immediately returned to the room. He took out his pistol in the bedroom and began to be alert. As a result, more than 10 minutes passed, and nothing happened. He took the gun to the balcony and began to check. He found a deformed bullet on the ground. He raised his hand to pick up the bullet, and his expression became solemn. Agadir, Morocco, a big man looked at the juice in his hand and smiled bitterly. What happened to him? He had gone through so many storms and waves. He had crawled out of a pile of dead bodies. What was there to be afraid of? He was actually scared by a phone call and ran here. Is this still himself? At worst, I can just kill him. I want to see what you, the luckiest man of this century, can do. He raised his hand and drank the juice in the cup in one gulp. He threw the cup and stood up. With a pop, the cup was shattered in the air. A pop sound came from a tree next to it. The big man was stunned and kept standing still. Sweat appeared on his face. Soon, the big man reacted and turned to the tree that made the sound. He saw very clearly that a bullet had penetrated deeply into the body of the tree. The expression on the big man's face changed and became solemn. Buck and others immediately began to change places and change countries again. This time, they followed their own wishes, bought plane tickets, refunded them when the plane was about to take off, and then bought tickets from other places to leave. They were not afraid of spending more money. Time passed slowly. Su Pinggan returned to his apartment after traveling for a few days. The popularity of him in the outside world has decreased a lot. In a few days, he can start his trip to the EU and gather a group of talents. On this day, Su Pinggan came back from drinking with Keldick and others. As soon as he went downstairs, he received a notice from the protagonist. There were 3 more people in the room. They were not carrying weapons. Su Pinggan just smiled and continued to go upstairs. He opened the door and turned on the light. He didn't look at the 3 people sitting on the sofa, but went to the bathroom to wash up. After coming out, he opened the refrigerator and took out a dozen beers. He sat down on the sofa. He put the beer on the table, tore off the plastic cover, took a bottle and opened it and drank it slowly. He made a gesture of invitation to the 3 people in front of him. It was up to them to drink or not. The big man sitting between York and Buck smiled and took out a can of beer and opened it to drink. Buck and York didn't drink. Soon, the 2 of them finished the beer and put the empty beer can on the table. I admit defeat. I think we can have a serious talk now, the big man said directly to Su Pinggan, who nodded. Indeed. We can talk now. How should I address you? You know my information, But I don't know yours, Su Pinggan said as he took out a cigarette from under the coffee table and lit it. Chapter 74 Tit for Tat. Your people followed me for 5 days and shot me 5 times. Don't you know who I am? The big man looked at Su Pinggan and said directly. You changed 5 passports along the way. How do I know how many names you have? Su Pinggan also looked at him and said. Gavin, Salsha. Gavin looked at Su Pinggan and said. Gavin's relevant information began to appear in Su Pinggan's mind, and Su Pinggan's face was full of deep thought. It took a while for his expression to return to normal. He smiled at Gavin, Buck, and York. Let's make a fair deal. I will buy you and help you get revenge. The 3 of you will be loyal for the rest of your lives, Su Pinggan said seriously. Gavin and the other 2 were stunned for a moment, looked at each other, and their expressions were extremely solemn. Do you know who our enemy is? Gavin asked. Of course, the 3 of you belong to the same mercenary company, the Bloodblade Mercenaries. Although there are not many people, they are famous for their efficiency. 9 years ago, you were ambushed while performing a mission in Egypt. Only 3 of you survived out of 26 people, and the families of all of you have been uprooted by the other side, and you still don't know who is behind you, Su Pinggan said slowly. Gavin and the other 2 began to breathe rapidly. The hatred of family members is difficult to resolve. They are still insisting on such difficulties. Isn't it just to find out the murderer who caused their family to be destroyed? In order to achieve this goal, nothing can be sacrificed. Okay, if you can get revenge for the 3 of us, we will sell the rest of our lives to you, Gavin said very affirmatively, and John and Buck nodded in agreement. Very good, Su Pinggan said, took out a note from his body, wrote some words, and handed it to Gavin. Go back and read it slowly. I'll give you a week. I will leave Iceland for Paris the day after tomorrow. I believe you can find me. We'll meet in Paris, Su Pinggan said slowly. See you in Paris, Gavin took the note and said, then turned around and left with York and Buck. Su Pinggan opened a bottle of beer and drank slowly, breathing a sigh of relief. He had 3 more good thugs, which was very good. Sooner or later, you will have to pay for what you have done. This sentence is very good. You killed others as a mercenary, so why can't others kill you? You should have been aware of this path long ago. Humans, for the sake of profit, really have no bottom line and nothing can't be sold out. The political situation in the Celestial Empire is stable and the society is stable. There are not so many bloody storms outside. After the incident with Gavin and the other 2, Su Pinggan had a deeper understanding of the jungle lot practiced abroad. The Celestial Empire and the outside world are completely 2 different worlds. Although the outside world is good, it is not suitable for ordinary people. You may disappear or die for no reason at any time. At that time, no one will sympathize with you. After spending a day to arrange everything, Su Pinggan took a plane to leave Iceland and fly to Paris. In the United States, Washington State, the capital of Olympia, there is a farm near the sea in the suburbs. The farm is not very large, but there are many cattle, which can bring certain profits to the farmer every year. On this day, it was drizzling. Farmer Fubinin and his wife were drinking coffee and talking on the balcony on the 2nd floor. They had been married for 10 years. When they got married, their child was already 8 years old. Over the years, they had a very good relationship. The wind and rain outside were getting stronger and stronger. His wife was going to boil another pot of water, and Fubinin was going to close the sliding door on the balcony to prevent the rain from being blown in by the wind. As soon as they stood up, the couple were stunned. 2 black guns were pointed at them. Who are you? You can take whatever you want, but don't hurt us. Fubinin looked at the 3 people wearing hoods and said directly. Who knew that the 3 looked at each other and smiled. Then the 2 were pushed to sit on the sofa in the room. A man sat opposite them. Fubinin and his wife sat opposite each other with 2 guns pointed at their heads. Jared, you have lived a very comfortable life in the past 10 years. You changed your name to Fubinin. Do you think no one will find you? I don't know if those brothers and their families who died in the bloody battle can rest in peace. The man looked at Fubinin and said slowly. Fubinin or Jared's face immediately changed, and he looked at the person opposite with horror. At this time, the person opposite also took off his hood and looked at Jared. It was none other than Gavin. The person who pointed a gun at the couple also took off his hood. It was York and Buck. Both of them had red eyes. You bastard, you live such a comfortable life by selling your brothers. God really has eyes and let us find you. The better Jared lives, the greater the hatred in Gavin and the other 3. Jared looked at Gavin, then looked at Buck and York, sighed deeply, and looked at his wife. His wife also sighed. She had been hiding for 10 years, but she still couldn't hide. After all, Jared betrayed his teammates for his wife. Is there anything to say? I really want to know why you betrayed us. Hank saved your life, and Lil also saved your life. Why did you betray us so cruelly? Gavin looked at Jared with cold eyes. Is there any point in saying this? Do it, Jared said, closing his eyes. Jared knew very well that Gavin and the other two would never let him and his wife go. No matter what he said, it was useless. The hatred was too great and there was no possibility of resolving it. Yes, if the answer satisfies us, your child and Charlotte can live. If we are not satisfied, the child will go down to accompany you, Gavin said directly. Jared and his wife immediately opened their eyes and looked at Gavin with horror in their eyes. For so many years, the two had always arranged for their child to live with a friend and rarely met, just to give the child an extra layer of safety. After all, the hatred caused by what happened back then was too great. My wife has uremia and must have a kidney transplant. It requires a large sum of money. The other party has a kidney source, and I can't refuse, Jared said directly. Oh, who is the other party? Gavin looked at Jared and said, and Jared smiled bitterly. The enemy has a deep hatred for Bloodblade. We wiped out his family, the Veza family of Algeria. Our intelligence was wrong. Although we wiped out the entire Veza family, the Veza family leader had an illegitimate child outside, and he has been secretly supporting this illegitimate child to grow up. What goes around comes around, Jared told the truth. Gavin, Buck, and York were stunned for a moment. Gavin sighed deeply. Bloodblade mercenaries took on this mission and wiped out the Veza family. Now they are being retaliated by the Veza family. There is nothing wrong with it. Chapter 75. The transaction I proposed is consensual. Where is this person now? Gavin looked at Jared and said. He's dead. His name is Jeffrey. He settled in Venice. He died of liver cancer 2 years ago. You can go and verify it. Now I have no reason to hide anything. I have embarked on the path of mercenary. It's normal for you to kill me and I to kill you. I'm sorry to the brothers of Bloodblade. I don't want to suffer this kind of inner torment anymore. Let's do it, Jared looked at Gavin and said, holding his wife's hand and smiled. His wife also held Jared's hand tightly. You kill me, I kill you. Gavin said this and smiled. York and Buck also looked at each other and sighed in their hearts. This sentence is really a true portrayal of the mercenary life. More than 2 hours later, a small mound of earth appeared in the corner of the farm. Jared and his wife were sleeping under the mound. Gavin and the other two cleaned up all traces and left the manor. The car drove a long way and stopped on the side of the road. What are your plans? Gavin asked Buck and York, and at the same time rolled down the window and lit a cigarette, not caring about the wind and rain blowing in from outside. What can I do? I swore in front of God that I would give everything I have as long as I can get revenge. So did it. I keep my oath, Buck said, looking at the wind and rain outside, and slowly rolled down the window, and lit a cigarette for himself. York, what about you? Gavin continued to ask expressionlessly. Same, I swore the same as Buck, as long as I can get revenge, I am willing to give everything. York looked at the wind and rain outside and said slowly, without lighting a cigarette but took out a few sips of water. There was silence in the car. The three of them were thinking about their own thoughts. The revenge was avenged, but their hearts were empty. They lost their goals and didn't know what to do. Let's go back to Paris, Gavin said while looking at the rain outside, and directly flicked the cigarette butt out of the car. Soon, the car started moving again and slowly disappeared in the wind and rain. France, Paris, at the junction of the 19th and 20th districts, in a basement, there are quite a lot of electrical appliances here, each of which is flashing a small light, obviously running. Jelan looked at the computer screen with a very tangled expression on his face. If there were network experts here, they would be able to see that there was a program on the screen, targeting a certain bank system. Jelan was a network hacker expert. As long as he hacked the bank system in front of him, he could get a large sum of money. This money could solve his mother's hospital expenses. At the same time, he would also fall into the crisis of being hunted down. The bank was not a kind unit. If he messed up and caused the bank to suffer losses, this matter would not be over until he was killed. If he really did it, would it bring any harm to his mother? Those rich people were inhumane. Jelan was very entangled. Looking at the enter key in front of him, he couldn't press it. The consequences were really serious. The expression on his face gradually became firm. If he didn't do this business, he would have no money to give to the hospital, and the hospital would stop his mother's medication. Jelan had no other choice now. When he was about to press it, the phone next to him rang. Jelan was ordered. After hesitating for a while, Jelan answered the phone. "Don't do stupid things. If you do this, your mother will be hunted down like you," a voice came from the phone. "Who are you?" Jelan asked with a horrified face. How could this person do what he was doing? "It doesn't matter who I am. I can give you a normal job. With your salary, you can save your mother openly. If you accept, come to see me in room 1107 of the Tune Hotel in the 7th District. The deadline is before dinner today. If you don't come again." The person on the phone hung up the phone. Jelan began to think. If she could save her mother openly, she would definitely not want to take risks. Her skills were good, but those rich people could find people with better skills than her to track her. Jelan knew this very well. After lunch, Su Pingan returned to the hotel with the items he bought. As soon as he arrived at the lobby manager came to greet him. "Sir, the young man over there is looking for you, saying that he has an appointment with you." Su Pingan turned his head, smiled, and waved. Jelan came over. "Thank you for your notice. We have an appointment." Su Pingan gave a tip after speaking, and the lobby manager smiled and bowed and left. Su Pingan waved his hand and asked Jelan to follow him. They got on the elevator and returned directly to his room. After putting away the items, he asked Jelan to sit down. Su Pingan took out the tea set and started to make tea. Everyone in the dormitory was infected by Mabo. This habit of drinking tea may be difficult to change in this life. "You called?" Jelan asked. Su Pingan nodded and made a tea-drinking gesture. "You are still very young this year, only 19 years old. You don't need to commit crimes to waste your talent. You can save your mother by taking the right path," Su Pingan said directly. "I don't know you, why do you want to help me?" Jelan asked directly, without drinking tea. "It's very simple. I plan to start a game company and need network programming experts. You are just one of them. When I tracked you down, I found that you were about to do something stupid, so I could only call you in advance to remind you," Su Pingan said slowly. "I know my own level. The salary obtained through normal channels is not enough to save my mother." Jelan is very clear about her own strength. Compared with those real masters, she is far behind. "Of course, you are not qualified to receive a high salary now, but you are still young and have a lot of room for improvement. I can lend you the medical expenses you need, and slowly deduct them from your salary until they are paid off. The deal I proposed is voluntary on both sides. You must pay your loyalty, as well as a serious and positive work attitude. I think you understand what I mean," Su Pingan said slowly. "I can't leave Paris," Jelan said seriously. The man in front of him was obviously Asian. His mother was still in the hospital, and he couldn't stay away. "Of course, if you join, I will arrange a place for you in Paris with enough equipment. You can accompany your mother after get off work. At the same time, you can also hire a nurse to take care of your mother in the hospital. You can work and take care of your mother without delay. As for who I am, I believe you will know after you go back in search. This is my business card," Su Pingan said directly, and then gave Jelan a business card of his own. Su Pingan's name is not unknown in Europe now. After being reported by media in various countries, it can be said to be very famous. Joining the Apocalypse Group should be the wish of many people. After all, the Apocalypse Group is now a powerful company. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.